Hello, everybody. Ah, God. It's been a week. How have I forgotten how to do this? Hold on. Hold on. I will materialize soon. There I am. Oh, God. It's only been a week, man. Come on. Hello. Hello, everybody. I am Salavoy the Butler. And after a week, that was what I can only describe as pure mental anguish. I'm back, baby. Hi. Hey, Lion. Hello, Macchiato. Hi. Let me shut my window real quick. Okay, there we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome by. Oh my God, it's been too damn long. So before we get into the real meat of potatoes of what I'm doing today, which is going to be kind of vibing, relaxing, and watching some food videos. God, those I love those emotes. Oh my God, they're great. So I announced earlier that all of last week was going to be basically no streaming. The reason for this is my grades were starting to dip to a point I didn't like, and I knew that these last few assignments were ones that I really had to give a shit about. My grades were getting down to like C's, which I know doesn't sound like the end of the world, but for this semester, I'm actually graduating. I am moving on to the real world, baby! Yeah, I am graduating college, I should say. Graduating, I know, is a term in the Vtuber community that means something completely different. For me right now, it means I am getting my diploma. Thank you so much, Hadwin. Oh, Hyde. Yes, I remember your nickname. Thank you. Brain for finally functioning. Hyde. Yes, thank you. I've started to get back my final grades, and you know, that week fucking paid off. It really did. It really did. My grades went up to high C's, B's. Heyo, clone. How you doing, Shep? God, I love how that's become a thing. Yeah, and last night, Monday, around like 4 o'clock is when I finished my last final. I didn't celebrate the way you would think. You stream when I'm on a train, pain. I don't control when you're on a train. I'm doing pretty well, actually. Thank you, Hyde. Yes, I am graduating with a bachelor's in history. My graduation ceremony is tomorrow, so I'm taking that day off as well. And then Saturday, I'm celebrating with friends and family my graduation. So that should be amazingly fun and a great time. I can't wait to finally get that freaking diploma. I've told the story. I will control the train. No, you won't. Fantastic news and a wonderful subject. Yes, it is a wonderful subject, and that's why I have the history redeem, is because I'm actually fucking looking to go into the museum industry. I'm looking to learn the words. I'm looking to teach people history in a way that I find fun, which hopefully means the museum industry is where I'm heading. If that means I get to stay in the mansion, wonderful. If it means I move outside of the mansion, also wonderful. Your words were really extremely helpful, Shep. Shep basically the entire time is like, yo, you got this. Stop worrying. You know, just, you have this more than you think you do. And I was panicking because, again, my grades were dipping to a level I didn't accept. So I was like, well, what if I fail this? What if I, bomb this one essay? And none of those fears came to realization. I've just gotten back my grades for those assignments, and they're all like like high C's or low B's. They're all perfect for what I needed them to be. I hope it goes well for me too, Hyde. I really do. So yeah, that's been my last week. I basically wrote 4 whole essays, a total of 10, 5, 17, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22 pages of papers, plus another 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 pages. So a total of 30 pages worth of papers if you count my final essays for my final assignments. Yeah. 30 whole pages of papers on multiple different topics from one of them was on a topic called the Atlantic Compromise, which I may go more into depth about, but it's a really like highly controversial topic. Oh, fun, Hyde. My best advice, having experienced it, plan U time. I'll say this for anyone else who's going through finals, who's going through like midterms even, or just any major school event. Plan time where you're away from it all. Because if you're just staring at an essay or you're staring at a final that's like due over a long term or due over a long time, you're going to like lose your patience over it. You're going to rush things you didn't mean to rush. And that's never the way you want to do it. You want to put your full heart and effort into those assignments because that's what's going to get you the damn grade. Plain and simple, that's what's going to get you the grade. So plan time away from it all. And I know that's kind of hard to do during a final where it's timed. But if it's like a really long final, take a couple minutes to just breathe and think out your next paragraph. Take a couple minutes to think out the question. Don't just immediately rush in because you think you got it. Give it a second. I promise you'll probably find something interesting or something unique you learned in another class that will probably be very useful for the final. That's all the advice I'm going to give. Plan U time and also just take breather time to think things out further. But I do wish you luck next year, Hyde, and you have been cheering me on, so I will do the same to you, Hyde. Sorry, someone wanted to know if the dog was fed. I'll be cheerleading you guys on when you get to this point. Thank you, Blue Zero. I am so happy to be streaming again, man. I can't express how happy I am to be able to come back. Even though it was a self-imposed break, it was... I think Shep, Cerise, and a couple other people heard it pretty loudly and clearly and often how I really miss doing this. This used to be very stressful for me. Streaming used to be the thing that I would have to like breathe before I did it, where I would have to like, yeah, my clone. I'll explain the clone thing in a second after this story. Streaming used to be this thing that stressed me the hell out. Over these last like 5 months, it has slowly become my stress reliever. Like, this is the thing I enjoy more than a lot of other things in this world. So, I have gone from like doing anxiety breathing before every freaking stream to like missing it. And last week I really missed it. Around Thursday, I was like staring at an essay and I thought, man, if I could just take a break to do like a quick 2-hour stream. And then I like had to stop myself because I'm like, no, focus on the assignment. Yeah, honest, I'm just glad to be back. I really am glad to be back. And Shep wants me to explain this. I've been joking around for the past couple of days now that Shep is my clone. We had a chat the other day, and we were talking about kind of our experiences growing up and a lot of other stuff. And we came to the conclusion that it's way too similar for our own good. To the point where it's terrifying. You know, when you're telling someone things about your life and they're agreeing, and it goes to the point of like, oh, haha, that's funny, to like, oh, that's really weird, to, oh my God, what the hell, why? Yeah, with me and Shep, it got to the oh God, what the hell, why point of like similarities of our childhoods. Oh my goodness. So yeah, we've gotten to start like calling each other clones. Hey, hell yeah, Sal, saying the progress you've been making is wonderful. It's only going to continue from here. Hell yeah, that's the goal. I'm glad to be back. I really am, Hyde. I think it's past that at this point. So you like propane as well? I like propane and propane accessories. No, but I was the kind of person when I played Half-Life who would just throw propane canisters at things that were problems. Excuse me for 1 second. Sorry, didn't need to give VTuber sneezes any ammunition. Hi, Runix! Hi! It's been a while, hasn't it? Whole week and no streaming. It really wears down these old Butler bones. Hi, Lion. It's allergy season around these parts, so I can't give him any bait. I can't give VTuber sneezes any bait. Hey, I have a question. Can I call you Stream Daddy? Oh boy, we're starting early. Oh, fucking hell. I don't know if I want to be called Stream Daddy. That's a bit much. that's a bit over the top. Wait, with the sneezes when you have your new model? Oh god, it's gonna fucking lose its mind. 100% my model's gonna lose its mind when I sneeze. Sal, I don't want to be clones anymore. You can't help it. We've already discussed this. It can't, like, our childhoods are too similar for us to like get rid of the clone moniker. Well, now, yeah, I know what my place is here. Bro, I learned something really interesting today. I learned about ancient... Now I know that's bait, and I know what the answer to the bait is. Do I answer it, or do I not? An interesting proposition, Runix. But what are the ancient Sugons? Just kidding, I know exactly what is going to happen next. Okay. Suck on these nuts. Ah! Got him! Got him. Oh my god, I've seen all of these on frickin' Domo's Twitter. You cannot get me. I have become too strong for the power of the Sugons. I have overpowered the Bofa. I have overcome the disease known as Ligma. I am too strong for these baits. All right. It kind of does. It really kind of does, Blue Zero. All right. I want to give a few shout outs real quick because actually over this week I've been gone. There have been a couple people to have followed, so I want to give them a shout out real quick. Thank you so much to Punny Pandora, Maru, Adora, and Ios, VT, Vtuber, and Vtuber. Thank you so much for the follows, and I hope you can drop by stream sometime soon. Speaking of bofa, have you ever had boba? If you mean the beverage with the tapioca pearls, yes, I do enjoy sucking down some balls. All right, let's go over. Let's go over here. Hold on. I just need to quickly go here. There we go. Now you guys can see it. All right, I think we should start. I've been saving up like food videos for the past like 3-4 days and not watching them for the express purpose of watching them here. So let us yeah, let us skip that ad. I'm sorry, Shep. What can I say? I like Thai tea. Blackcurrant plum. Ooh, very interesting. Oh wait, you guys can't hear this wonderful sound of grocery store I'm hearing. We're not watching mukbangs. I'm not really a big mukbang watcher, really. I much more prefer videos like this, where it's just more about the food than like ASMR or stuff like that. Yes, you did, Dax. By the way, welcome by the stream. Buy tea? No, I thought I said tiger tea. Did I say buy tea? My brain is static. Yeah, same. You know, a week of writing essays will fucking do that to you. I do like food videos because I'm a fat fuck. I watch these so I actually get hungry at reasonable times. Now this is available in the US too, I believe, the mango flavored monster. Now everyone swears by this one. I much prefer the like fruit punch.
Feels weird.
Oh no, you can't talk about Marvel, no, that's a property. The onion flavor makes an onion. Ah yes, this floor here is made of floor. When I hear you say same now, my body goes into fight or flight. I mean, that's a natural reaction. I will say, I do like the fruit punch monster, but I've had to cut these things like out of my diet. And there's a very particular reason as to why. Mango flavored monster. Yeah, there's mango flavored. There's fruit punch flavored from the same like line, and a couple other flavors. Ooh, ramen. Ramen is always tasty. Yeah, box ramen is very pog. I will say I've had to cut like Monster out of my diet completely because apparently if you have any sort of ADHD disorders, caffeine just doesn't work. Yeah, caffeine is a stimulant, and when your brain is already overstimulated by fun with ADHD, it just does nothing. So I would drink copious amounts of Monster hoping that it would, you know, wake me up, which is what it's supposed to do. Yeah, no, it actually made me drowsy. This doesn't look good, not gonna lie. Yeah, it kind of, the noodles look kind of trash. Sal, I didn't know this. The more you know. I literally found a study on this while doing research. Wake me up inside, save me. Yeah, no, caffeine in general just doesn't work for people with hyperactive brains. It literally will make you tired and drowsy. So drinking Monster is a sleep aid. Which I don't think is the intended effect. Weird, you have to poke holes in the lid with chopsticks, but you eat with a spoon. Okay, that I kind of agree with. If you already have the chopsticks there, you already have the eating utensil for the item. Why give a spoon? I guess to hold it over, like under the noodles, to catch the broth, but there's no broth because it's a dry noodle, so no sense. No sense at all. I thought the chopstick was a straw. That man was gonna drink the ramen. He was just gonna slurp down some dry ramen. Get a noodle to the back of the throat. On these cakes, though, that looks really delicious, I will say. Now, blackcurrant plum. Blackcurrant is a flavor here in the United States that, Hold on. Hold on. Can we just go over that quote real quick? This somehow reminds me of the time I kept rabbits. Oh, God. I was about to explain how blackcurrant is a rare flavor in the United States. Dax, I think I already know the channel you're going to recommend. So let's play a game. If I'm right, we don't have to watch. If I'm right, we don't have to watch it. If I'm wrong, I'll watch it after this. I think it's Kay's cooking that you're going to recommend me. I come in here and Sally laughs about something that looks like poop. I'm sorry. The quote down below is what I'm laughing at. Dumbass shit. Okay. Cooking with Jack? Okay, I'll check it out. Yeah, I was about to say, blackcurrant is a flavor that's really unfamiliar to the U.S. Because it threatened to kill the white pine population, which basically built a ton of our like high skyscrapers in the beginning. Like Empire State Building, the entire structural is white pine. And blackcurrants were threatening to kill them because they were a carrier for pine rust, which European pine trees were immune to. American pine trees, not so much. So yeah, blackcurrant is basically banned in the Northeast. We're just slowly starting to get it back in the United States. Pretty much there's like one candy shop I know of that does blackcurrant candy. And then there's a couple winemakers that import to the US blackcurrant wine, which I haven't gotten to try yet. I've gotten to try the candy, and I have to say, blackcurrant is amazing. Pain, I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Shab. A questionable snack. Crustiest fry I've ever seen. Jesus Christ, how many ads can you put in a food video? Yeah, I think they're supposed to be duck neck. It just looks like a really dry macaroon. Sal, I could send you a Kinder Surprise egg and you'd get in trouble. Yeah, I think so. I have blackcurrants in my garden. I probably could, where I live, grow blackcurrants. Probably true, Dex. I probably could grow blackcurrants here because I don't believe they're banned here. But I'd have to double check because there are still quite a few states where blackcurrants are illegal to own. Yeah, Kinder eggs are allowed back in the US. It's basically you have to actually be a parent around them, which wasn't the case last time. Oh, weird. The milk that comes out of the snowman tastes artificial? I wonder why. Yeah, Kinder eggs are sick. Why would you get dried scallop? I'm sorry. Scallop is the most tasty and delicate seafood there is. Why would you get it like this? It didn't ruin it, 'cause it really didn't. Whoa. Oh, God. I think I found that on the bottom of my shoe. That's not what you... I can't talk because that's so fucking gross.
Thank you for the host.
Thank you for the host, Shep. Jesus Christ. I agree, Chi. That's gross. Scallop is one of the most, like, delicate, like, seafoods. If you sear it, it's beautiful. That wasn't beautiful. Burn it. Burn the scallop? Yeah. Dax, if you want to come back, we're doing grass jelly now, which is probably better. I've had grass jelly and boba, and that's about it. Because for some reason with fruit tea, grass jelly is just amazing. It's just a really herby tasting, like, jelly. Who is that? Oh, it's Sean. That scallop look like the chunky stuff that comes up when you eat burgers. You might want to clean your grill then if you're getting chunky stuff off your burgers. That's usually a sign that the grill needs to be cleaned. I've had that at a Bubba food truck. I have too. I love grass jelly. Gotta head out, enjoy the rest of your return stream. Will do, Shep. Glad you could drop by. Now, I've never had grass jelly warm. I've only had it in cold drinks. So I wonder what it would taste like warm, because sometimes these things, like, change flavors. Depending on if they're, like... yeah. Oh, and it actually has some aloe jelly in there as well. Ah, nice. All right, we've got cumin grilled corn. Oh, and a Genshin ad. Let's go, chat. We have a Genshin ad. Honestly, like, joke, haha, funny name aside, that'd probably be very tasty. Because grilled corn in general, amazing. With spices, even better. God damn it, Dax. He's drinking cum water? Ew, gross. Ew, what the fuck? A full bowl of cumin-covered grilled corn. Looks like some of this got beat up in packaging. But that does look pretty good. He's drinking cum water. It's from a meme, I swear to God. It's from the frickin' Cody Code channel. Purple sweet potato rice cake. I'm not the biggest fan in the world. Why is it orange? Because cumin is orange. I'm not the biggest fan in the world of sweet potato. I will say it. Yeah, this is very nice packaging. For, you know, what is basically the same processing of a Hostess cake. With probably the same amount of preservatives. Oh, yeah, that looks artificial as fuck. Oh, and he ripped off the corner of the... Oh, come on. Oh, you get an extra snack. Nice. Same, Dax. It's not a perfect square. Who the fuck eats 18 sweet potato cakes? This man after this video. You know he's like, I got this for this fucking video and now I gotta eat all 18 of these sweet potato cakes. Hate it, hate it. Okay, it's delicious. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of sweet potato or like sweet potato fries. I think if you're already gonna get fries, just be unhealthy. Look, just be unhealthy at that point. You're already ordering fries. Just get the potato version. If you're really stressing about getting rid of a few calories, throw it in an air fryer. Yeah, it does. That's why I said it looks like a Hostess cake. Hostess is like a pastry company here in the US, if you're not familiar with it. It has some of the most artificial looking cake, and it looks just like that. Okay, so this is like an orange, like, pudding or custard? Oh, yeah, it's a jiggle pudding. And it comes with the smallest spoon I've ever seen. Okay, dude, it's a pudding. You don't gotta treat it like that. Yeah, it looks pretty. Hey, hey, Bandit! Welcome by the stream. Oh, it has fruit inside? Does it have... Yeah, jiggle look good. He's just slapping it like it's an ass. It does look tasty. I'm doing pretty well, Bandit. How have you been doing? Oh, it has like those cutie oranges, the clementines. Yo, I would actually probably love this. Chrysanthemum wine. That's not something I would normally ferment, really. Or is it just like a standard like Asiatic rice wine with a chrysanthemum in it? Yeah, it kind of looks like a fucking tapeworm. I'm glad I'm your dishwashing helper, I guess. I'll help you put the dishes away. A light tint of yellow, probably from the flour that's been chilling inside of it, losing pigment. Yep, taking a shot. No, Ad, go away. That's Post Malone, no. I don't want to be Post Malone. Ah!
These headphones. It's a comfortable
I hate those TikTok headphones. They're always ass. All right, what I might just do is switch over to my other account that doesn't have ads. If I'm gonna be full screening videos anyway, it doesn't fucking matter. Okay, so it's just infused with chrysanthemum. Oh, and you can eat the flour. Okay. Cause this guy had like 4 ads. Let's quickly... I'm gonna switch screens while I switch my accounts and queue up the next video. Because I don't want you guys finding my alternate accounts. Yeah, I know what time it is. You posted it before. Oh God, it's this guy. Oh God damn it, Dax, what have you sent me? What have you sent me, Dax? This is Cooking with Jack. Comments are turned off. Actually, before I watch this, the full video, I kind of just want to, I love the BRB screen. Yeah. Sorry, didn't want you guys seeing my, like, alt account's name. Okay, let's watch a compilation of this guy.
That's right. Last week we did Aunt Myrna's recipe with the coleslaw. Amazing. This
oh
week
no,
we're
I
doing
see
party
Cool Whip
cheese
and canned
salad.
pineapple. This
When
can
I saw
only
her
end
make
well.
this in Alabama, I was like, goosh, I'm not sure about some of these ingredients, but then
Yeah, I'm not sure about some of the ingredients I see on this table.
It's really cool. So let's get this thing started. We're gonna cook all this on the stove. Then we're gonna pour it in this glass dish, which I've never used in my whole life. I think my mom gave me
least
this,
he's honest.
I'm gonna have a chance to use this.
No, no one uses those glass
So it's
dishes
gonna be
except for
awesome.
like Thanksgiving.
Let's get started right now. Wait till you see this.
Or the,
I never would have put.
hold the fucking phone. What are you making? He's going to burn his house now. Okay. I see things that in my mind point to dessert happening. That would be the maraschino cherries, the cream cheese, the Cool Whip, the Jell-O, and the crushed pineapple. Maybe the pecans. I can see that. Then I see what looks to be shredded cheese. I see like shredded cheese. I see what looks to be like celery and bell pepper. What are you making? What are you making?
These ingredients together had it not been for Aunt Myrna. You got cream cheese, pimentos.
Oh, those
Cool
aren't
Whip.
maraschino cherries. Those are pimentos. Oh, God. Really, what are you making? Pimento is usually something that's like stuffed in an olive, if I remember correctly.
Crushed nuts, any kind that you like. I'm using pecans. Lemon, or you can use lime Jell-O. Celery, bell pepper.
Oh, wow. I guess the veggie's correct.
pineapple, and American cheese.
I'm sorry. No. Jell-O and American cheese should be nowhere the fuck near each other. I'm sorry. No. And also, who has enough American cheese to grate? I'm sorry. I buy the singles for like Korean ramen. I can't imagine meeting a block
Can you believe
that
this?
you could grade.
This is
No,
crazy.
Jack, I fucking can't believe it. Okay, so he's got the magic bullet. That's the tiniest magic bullet thing you can do. He's gonna crack 2 eggs.
That's right. The guy wanted everything in his, remember?
Oh, is he gonna do that like omelet thing from the commercial?
1 tomato. Thing of cheese. Thing of ham.
Everything
And
like
let's
that.
put in a little bit of onion. Put in some onion there. There and there. Okay? Look good? Close that up. Ooh. It's all there. It's just like the video. Cool.
Also,
Let's see if it does
I
exactly like she
don't
did, right?
recommend
There's your breakfast right
doing
there.
this
Remember
at
that?
all if you're doing an
And she did
omelet.
it for 3. 2 counts of 3. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And that's what she
You're
did.
whipping the eggs too much,
So let's
Jack.
cook that up, and I'll bring it right back, and we'll take a look and see how it.
This isn't even done cooking inside yet. This has been hard to cook. I know I'm burning the bottom of this already, so I'm
Jack.
taking it out now. But I mean, it's not even fully cooked on the inside.
Jack.
It doesn't cook well. So I'm gonna roll this out. I guarantee we've
Jack,
already
that's
burnt the
fucking
outside.
raw.
And look, it's runny on the inside and burnt on the outside. Look at that.
I
Look at
wouldn't
that.
call that
Doesn't even
burnt.
cook well. Unbelievable.
No.
That's too bad because it blends. You can dunk it in. Probably gonna overflow.
Oh God.
I don't care.
Oh God.
I got dunked
Did
in and go.
you? What the fuck kind of hot dog is that? I know he's making corn dogs. That is the thickest glizzy I done ever seen. What? That has to be like an inch or 2 across. What? Sir, where do you buy your hot dogs? That is the thickest of
All right,
glizzies.
make sure you don't overflow it. There we go.
Nothing sticking. Nothing sticking because he did nothing correctly.
Wow. That's crazy. That's a
And it's
ton
all
of
over his counter.
batter in there.
His oil's not hot. Okay, I want you to see this again, chat. You know your oil is up to temp when you could put a piece of batter in and it immediately starts sizzling. Watch what the oil does when he puts this in.
Crazy. That's a ton of batter in there.
It doesn't even react. There is no sizzling. There is no boiling. His oil is not up to temp. His oil's like warm. Come on. I'm not a chef. I'm barely a home cook. I fuck up constantly in the kitchen. I know what oil should look like when you're frying things. That's not even
Get it in there cooking?
shimmering.
Get it to rotate a little
Oh,
bit.
now it's reacting. It's
didn't
not
work.
browning.
It's coming off the hot dog right now. First time ever. It didn't work well. And center it on the plate. There you go.
Same Professor
Here we go.
Elvis.
They have to warn you. Once
Welcome
again,
by
this
the
could be
stream,
rare,
by the
so
way.
you don't like rare, you might want to leave the room now.
Buddy. No. Okay. Medium for a hamburger, you know, you don't know the source of the meat. Like you bought your meat at the grocery market. I've never worked in a restaurant in my life. I barely would call myself a home cook. But no, you should not be doing your burgers rare, even if you know where the meat was from. He basically tried to fry a corn dog when the oil wasn't up to temp, so all the batter fell off of it, and then flipped it before it was browned. And now he's gonna show us a rare hamburger, which I don't even think if you grind it yourself you should be doing. I think you should be cooking it to at least medium. That's the furthest I will go with a burger. This thing's gonna be fucking raw. I can tell. Yep,
Lord.
it's raw.
I know it's gonna be beautiful.
It's fucking
It's
raw.
not.
It's raw.
Nice and pink. Wow,
That's
I
blue.
can hear the emails coming. Look at that. Oh my.
You're gonna hear me. No, there's blood, which your burger should not be having. Your burger should be juicy, but if they're like bleeding at this point, you didn't rest them. Yeah, that's rare. That is rare. Blue rare. That touched the pan. It got, like, introduced to it and then got flipped over. That is not how you cook a burger.
Oh my God.
No.
Let's take the bell off and put it on
That's
a bun.
how you get a health code
But anyway,
violation.
There it is.
In
right
your own
there.
kitchen.
Let's give
If
a
you
try.
do it at home, the health department
Well,
will call
there it
your
is.
ass.
It's gorgeous. Okay, before I try it, I just want to say thanks to Crown Blue Bison. Don't forget when you cook
Hi,
bison,
Darkfire!
either rare or
Hi,
medium
hi.
rare, you go to well done and forget it. It's gonna
Yeah, the burger looked at the pan, said hello, and then was flipped over.
toughen up.
That's how
all right?
fucking raw
Let's
it
give
is.
this baby a try. Mmm.
No fucking clue he should be.
I took him down to the ground. I threw him down to the ground.
Cut right into this.
All right, so this is chicken thighs done to
Look how
fuck.
juicy it is.
Okay,
Look at the
that's...
pool. Oh, look at that. That's great. Did a
No,
great
that's
job.
not.
That's a lot of juice. Didn't cook well right there, so I'm not going to eat that. See how that is? That's when you cut in and you test your meat. Shouldn't be red like that.
If your chicken is raw anywhere, don't fucking eat it. Chat again. I'm not a chef. I'll watch it after stream, Darkfire. I've been watching the Billy McGuire memes you've been sending me. If your chicken is raw anywhere in the product, it is contaminated. You have to cook it until it is white. Thigh is probably the easiest piece to cook because not only do you cook it for a short time than like a big old frickin' chicken breast, but also thigh being a dark meat is just a juicier, more flavorful cut of chicken because it actually has fat. Unlike chicken breast, which is basically just a hunk of lean meat. So thigh can be cooked for a shorter amount of time and well, to the point where it's going to be tasty. It's easy to cook chicken thighs. He murdered that chicken and didn't even give it enough time to be done. And now it would possibly kill him because it probably has salmonella, which we haven't gotten rid of yet. Okay, we're back to Alvin and the Chipmunk. This is stuff I know as a home cook. This is stuff I know just from like existing with a kitchen.
Got her on the show because
Okay, so we have, oh god, I think we have like white people nachos. I see ground beef and I see tortilla chips. We're having white people nachos.
she has that Hispanic edge that I need on my show. And we're doing lazy man enchiladas.
There's no carne asada.
Awesome. And she does this all the time for her Bible study. It's like the first thing to go. In fact, it's the
Did
only
he
thing
just
there,
tell
so it's the
her
first
to
thing go. But they
smile
love it.
and breathe?
But
Because
this
that's
was the
all she's
moment
doing.
I was choking him and screaming in his ears.
Like-
But this
Thing to go. In fact, it's the only
One more
thing there,
time.
so it is the first thing to go. But they love it. So
but this was the moment I was choking him and screaming in his ears.
Kinky. Moving on.
all right, look at that.
Burnt.
Beautiful. They came out perfect.
Burnt.
The bottoms are dark. They're not burnt.
No, that's fucking burnt. If that's a cornbread, that's burnt. That is burnt to a fucking crisp. That is, wow. How was your oven not smoking? If it's that dark on the bottom of it, his oven should have been smoking.
That's just from all the roast drippings that we used. And they're perfectly golden brown.
No,
on
you
top.
burnt
And
it.
these would
That
be
is what
like
burn
all on the
is.
Side of sliced roast beef with gravy and vegetables.
You burnt
They
it.
are nice and beautiful.
I now see why his comments are
All
off.
right, let's put in a piece of chicken and see how it works.
Okay, so I
Make
saw
sure your
like
hands are clean, by the way.
you fucking better be. Yeah, you'll be crunching on it for a long time if you can get your teeth through it. He had to unstick the fork because this is basically thickened peanut butter.
really pasty.
Because you just added flour to peanut butter. You've made a non-Newtonian
Okay,
fluid.
so you dip your chicken in there. It's gonna be gummy, but when
Buddy, excuse me?
dip your chicken in there, it's gonna be gummy. but when-
Okay. So I see like brisket, kielbasa, and like either chicken or pork. There's like 4 or 5 different meats in there. But there's hot dogs as well. Then there's like random veggies, cans of unidentifiable substances, beer, already made like pasta sauce. I don't want more context. By the way, these meat claws are shit. Just use
It's
2
almost
forks.
like it's smoked.
No, it doesn't. It looks like
I don't know how to use these.
you've...
I mean, kind of like forks or what?
No, just use forks. Honestly, if it's taking that much effort to tear apart a like roasted pork that you've been doing low and slow for a long time, you overcooked it. Guaranteed you overcooked it. I don't know how to use these, says a lot right there. No, honestly, these claw things are stupid and I hate them. Mainly because they're just not really as useful as they make themselves out to be. They're very clumsy. They're not really ergonomically designed. They don't work well. 2 forks will do the same job, or if you cooked it correctly, you can literally crumble it with your hands. They're called like the Wolverine claws or something like that. It's basically supposed to be like you just tear it apart like an animal. But honestly, if you've cooked pork or chicken well, they don't make me look more like Dinechi. No, that's why I want my money back. I can probably pull it up. It was an old infomercial. Like the shredding claws or whatever these were called. But honestly, if you do a roast chicken or a roast pork well, low and slow, to get like a pulled pork or a pulled chicken, you can just crumble that stuff in your hands.
Well, here, let's try this.
Or with 2 forks.
You just want to shred it. I should just use it in my KitchenAid.
No, that would have made it gummier.
Yeah, these are okay.
No.
I took him down to the ground. I threw him down to the ground. I took him down to the ground. I threw him down to the ground. I took him down to the ground. I threw him down to the ground.
Excuse me? Oh, is that the video you wanted me to watch? Was the salad one? This one? Oh my god, this is so early YouTube, it hurts. This is so early YouTube, it hurts. Now, I will say, I do have a mug that's around this size, so I do not blame him. But usually I do it for double patches of like cider or tea, because I'm addicted to cider and tea.
That's right. Another video geeked on coffee. It's unbelievable. Look, it's my Disneyland cup, too.
Oh my god, mine's from... I can't not admit it. Mine's from Disney as well. It really does. It looks like a parody of like old YouTube. Mine is a Nightmare Before Christmas one. No, mine's not the goofy one. Mine's Nightmare Before Christmas. Because I saw Jack Skellington on a mug as like a 16 or 17-year-old and was basically like, I fucking need this for coffee. And then I stopped drinking coffee. Because turns out, coffee just, it doesn't wake me up. It just gives me anxiety. Which, I mean, keeps me awake. So technically it did its job. It's just I didn't want it to do its job like that.
Good old goof. Oh, hey. By the way, did that sponsor check from Disney ever arrive? No? They haven't sent their check yet? Oh. Sorry about that. There we go.
Oh my god, the cheesiest of jokes.
Just
Okay,
a
we
coffee
continue.
cup. That's all it is. Mm-hmm.
Who the fuck is he talking
Okay,
to? His
so,
therapist.
Let's go to fan mail first, or emails. I don't really like to call it fan mail because I don't feel like I have fans. I just have viewers. I got this from Stavros, who goes
Thank
by
you for the
Stav.
hydrate macchiato.
And it says, it's simple that here in Germany, we do not have a some of the products that I'm showing on my show. For example, there is no marshmallow paste. You guys remember the
Wait, is that a thing? Hold on. I know there's a couple people from Germany who dropped by the stream. Does this, like, thing exist? Like marshmallow cream that you can spread on bread? Yeah, Zero Chi, Blue, I think you guys were here. We have that now? Okay.
fruit dip with the mallow mix. They don't have that in Germany.
It tastes horrible?
They also
Yeah, it
don't
does.
have garlic
It
chopped
tastes absolute
in
ass,
bottled
in my
water.
opinion.
And just to let you know,
But there is a
they're
sandwich you can make with it. It is called, I think it was like the sandwich that killed Elvis, called the Fluffernutter, where you put that and peanut butter on 2 slices of bread. Elvis also added, I think, bacon to his, because Elvis in his later years was disgusting. Yeah, it exists, but I don't like it either. Yeah, I'm not a fan.
This. Also, what else does it say here? Oh, yeah.
Wait, minced garlic is not available in Germany? Like minced garlic in a
We
jar?
also do not have garlic chopped in bottled water. And just let you know, he's talking.
Wait, I have one of these in my fridge at all times because of the amount of garlic I use in my dishes. I always get fresh garlic and chop it up. I would. The problem is a lot of my bulbs of garlic now go into making black garlic for compound butters. But I'm lazy. No, it's not that I'm lazy. Honestly, mincing garlic is not the hardest thing in the world. It's probably easier than you think. It's literally put down clove of garlic, smack the knife into the garlic, like with the flat side. You smack the flat side into the garlic, and then you just chop it, and it makes minced garlic. Minced garlic is not hard to make. Hell, garlic paste is even, like, easier, because then you just add salt and scrape it across your board. We have, like, pickled whole garlic cloves. We have that too, but this is like minced garlic stored in water, so the water takes a bit of the flavor of the garlic as well, so that if you put it in like a soup, it immediately imbues in the soup.
Talking about this. Also, what else does it say here? Oh, yeah. Another funny thing is we don't have our portion sizes are different. So
Yeah,
when I'm
I
saying
know that
putting a
much.
glop of
I was
this,
watching a
in
video of
Germany,
like
they're like, their glop is like this.
UK
But American glop is like that.
like UK versus American fast food restaurants, and the portion sizes were completely different. Like their large was our small. And I'm just looking at it going, how much am I like eating and drinking?
That. So my portions are wrong. So I'm going to try and be
Also,
more
glop
specific
is
in my
not a
measurements
measurement.
so that you can convert the cups or the teaspoons.
Yeah, there's a
and
lot of
tablespoons
similar
to whatever
foods,
you
but
use
there's
in
also a
Germany
lot that
or
like
any of your
Americans
other
would not eat
countries
from the
that might
UK
be
side,
out
and
there
the UK
watching,
would not
okay?
eat from our side.
Let's get on with the show. We're going to be doing it's called Salad Night. And what we do on Salad Night is, for those hot summer nights, everybody's starting to complain about the temperatures right now.
Oh, God.
So we're going to teach you a
Guac
dinner
is
that
a
you can
measurement?
prepare
No,
the
not
night
guac, glop. By the way, hi Scrubtello. Hi.
before.
Hey Scrubby.
Break it out, serve it. It's cold.
US
Everybody
and
loves
UK
it.
food
It's
is bland as
delicious,
fuck. It can
and
be.
Leftovers are amazing.
There's
plenty of
really
leftovers.
flavorful dishes,
Called
and there's
Salad
dishes
Night,
that are
and
bland
we're
as
gonna
hell.
get started on that right now. We're going to show you
Like Cajun
on the
food
show
you cannot
today,
say
3
is
different
bland.
salads. One is called a tomato salad. One is your macaroni salad. And one is a bean
Okay, tomato salad, if it's what I'm thinking, is a salsa. Macaroni salad is the thing I avoid at every family barbecue because it tastes like complete ass. And how the fuck do you make this gigantic can of pork and beans into a salad? It is.
salad. So let's start with bean salad first.
Okay,
so here's
so
the tip.
Stacks, you're going to learn
If
what
you
bean
notice
salad
here
is.
on the can,
53 ounces
have
of pork
cut
and
it,
beans
and
and
it's
whatever the
sinking in a
fuck
little
else
bit.
that is.
See the lid? There you go.
Noodle salad can be yummy if done good. Yeah, 90% of people in the US can't do it good. I can guarantee you. If you asked most people what's the dish you avoid at like family get-togethers. It's the potato salad and it's the macaroni salad. Cause yeah.
This is what I'm going to use to drain all this juice. That's in
Okay,
there. You don't
thank
want
God
the
he's
juice.
draining
Once
the
again,
juice from the can
do
because I
not keep the juice.
don't
You're
know
gonna
what
drain
that is.
out and leave the beans in there. So I've gotten rid of the lid now. I drained all the juice, and then you can see right here. Look at that. There's that bad boy. You know
That's
what that
a
is?
piece of
I'm gonna
like
tell you what that is.
pork cutting.
That is the
My Puerto
fat
Rican ass
from
is quick.
pork and beans. I'm sorry, excuse me. That's what they're calling pork. It's a little square of fat, and that's it. In this whole can, this is somehow going to add flavor. I have no idea, but here we go. Ready?
Pork fat is
Launch.
absolutely amazing.
Gone. All right, now time to move
I
on.
always have empty bowls if I make
Take the
either
beans.
when I'm...
Dump them in the bowl. Okay, now I'm cutting
I'll
a
probably have to
large
try
onion.
yours because the
I'm
ones
not
my
gonna
family
use,
make are usually
but
ass.
maybe.
All right,
I'm
let
gonna
us
say
see this
1/4 of it.
culinarian's
So
knife
let's
skills.
Get rid of the rest.
Oh, look at them knife skills. He just uses a
There you go.
fucking slap chop.
That's pretty good. Nice.
You're gonna love
Okay,
his
I lied.
nuts.
That's all I need. So
1/8
correction,
of a
it's
large
1/8. We're gonna do 1/8 of the
yellow
onion. So just take,
onion.
Take those onions, put them right in there in the mix. I do heaping tablespoons.
Oh
You're gonna start with 2.
no!
2 heaping tablespoons.
Why? That's
And you're gonna mix
that's
it in.
4
You're gonna take a look at
tablespoons
it
of
and see.
mayo. My
So take a look at that.
arteries.
That's your bean salad.
You know what that reminds me of? Oh my god. You know, hold on. Hold on. Yeah, the beans look disgusting. No, not NATO. It looks like this. It looks like natto. Yeah, there's no seasoning. Hi, Four Eyes. It looks like natto. It looks like those fermented soybeans that you find in like as like Japanese snacks that nobody wants to eat.
Very
It
thick
does look
consistency.
like that, Blue
It will
Zero.
even thicken more in the refrigerator.
Yeah,
So
natto looks
we've got
more
it all mixed.
delicious.
The only thing we need is a little bit of tang to this. You got the chopped onions, you got the beans, mayonnaise, and then you're gonna put in 2 capfuls
No!
of white vinegar. Don't worry. If you
Don't
spill over a
add
little
any
bit.
more
2
fucking
capfuls.
acid
1,
to this. It's surrounded by acids.
2. That's gonna put a little tang in there. Okay, and you're gonna mix
The
that,
mayo
mix it
is
thoroughly.
already slightly acidic.
And then when you're done, you're just gonna pop that right like that. That lid right on there, you're
And
gonna
then you
throw that
chuck it in the
refrigerator, and
fucking
we'll break that
trash.
out later on, but it's gonna solidify, and it's gonna be great.
I
This
don't
is something you
fucking
make the
want it
night
to
before
solidify.
and just pull it out the day of. So that's bean salad. That's salad number 1. Salad number 2. We're moving on.
Yeah, I
is
think so,
tomato
Zero
salad.
G.
Even easier.
Okay,
than salad
tomato
number 1.
salad. Tomato salad is either going to be salsa or an abomination. I'm gonna go with abomination.
All right, it's gonna be tomatoes, olive oil, oregano, salt and pepper,
Abomination.
and water. It's so refreshing.
This
It's
is
so
basically a
delicious. The only
tomato
thing is I
sauce that he's
can't
not gonna
remember-
cook. I'm
to-
going to guarantee it.
Check with my mom because I can't even remember how much oil I'm supposed to use. So let's give her a call.
You wouldn't add olive oil to a salsa.
Hello.
Hi, Mom.
Hi. What's up?
Quick question.
Okay.
How much oil and how much water do I use in the tomato salad?
Yeah, it's gonna be uncooked
Right,
tomato
you don't have
sauce.
any measurements.
No, and people in Germany are complaining. We got to have measurements.
I know. Okay.
His mom sounds
Is
so
it a 50-50?
disappointed. Yeah, her son's in a fucking green screen kitchen.
No, it's more water than oil.
60 or 70 30?
I don't know. Let me tell you what to do.
Okay.
Get everything together, your salt, pepper, put it all in a bowl.
Right?
His mom just sounds like she just wants to be gone from this conversation.
Pay attention to what you're doing. Add like a 1/4 cup of oil, a 1/2 cup of water. See what happens.
1/4 cup of oil, 1/2 cup of water.
I know vinegar,
Okay.
small tomato with little mozzarella
that
balls,
sounds
olive oil,
good.
balsamic food, salt and pepper.
Yeah,
chili.
and
Yeah,
see
that
what it
I would
looks
eat in a
Okay.
heartbeat. That's basically like a
right, now-
chopped
And then if it
Mediterranean
doesn't
salad.
look like it's enough oil,
There's like a name
add
for it that I know
another
of.
1/4 cup of oil.
Got it.
I wanted to watch this before sleep. Now I'm
I
awake and
got it.
disgusted.
Okay. Now, do you mind if I put this part?
I'm
of
gonna
us
go back to
talking on
better
the
food
video?
videos after this. I'm just enthralled by
Yeah,
this man.
I don't want to be on the video.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right, I won't put it in the video. Love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye.
He talked to a woman for
I love doing that to her. First thing
wine,
we're gonna do
vinegar,
is
small
cut the
tomatoes, little mozzarella
This is the
balls.
quarter cup of oil. Okay. You're gonna
A
pour
quarter
that in
cup of extra
all over
virgin
the
olive
tomatoes.
oil,
And then just fill it up
which is
again
too much.
completely to the top, and that is your cup of water. Take your seasoning,
No.
and you're gonna just shake that.
You see it's separating because oil and water mix well. It's a known fact.
I would say about,
That is
Teaspoon or
not
two?
2
Probably 2
teaspoons.
teaspoons.
That's like
and then
5.
this is all by hand. Just salt it, and pepper. I could mix this up with this spoon.
He's,
but I'm not going to.
yeah.
I'm
I
gonna do it
don't
the
think we're
guy
watching
way.
Uncle
We
Roger.
all know what the guy
Unless
way
it's
is.
his video
Right.
talking
The guy
about
way
case
puts the
cooking.
lid on it.
Yeah.
Probably makes a
This
mess
is not
this
going to
way,
make a
but the guy
refreshing
way.
vinaigrette. This is
That
going to make
shakes it
wet
up.
tomatoes.
Let's get that right next to the bean salad in the refrigerator. That was salad number 2, tomato salad. It's
They
time to
could
move
have
on
gone
to
so much
macaroni
more.
Salad. You want to buy the salad macaroni, and the salad macaroni is like little tiny barrels.
Oh,
In fact, here, let me show you
100%.
what it looks
He
like.
made
This
so
is what
he
it
made
looks like.
wet oily
Okay? If
tomatoes.
you can't get this, go with the
pork and
elbow
beans and
macaroni.
mayo.
Now the macaroni is in the water. It's boiling. It's cooking. We're gonna cook that up.
Oh,
I'm
thank
only
God
using
he
1
cooked
pound.
it.
A 1 pound.
There's a
package of
reason I
macaroni,
say
And
this.
for a 1 pound,
I don't think we're going to be watching any more
okay,
painful
for
videos
a
after this.
1 pound package of macaroni, you're
Uncle
only gonna need
Hans.
about 1/4 of this tomato. Here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna have to take your time. I want small pieces.
Blaming
okay?
whoever.
Macaroni's cooked. I just got done straining the water.
Okay,
Pieces,
did you see that? He
okay?
like hit his camera
Macaroni's
somehow.
cooked. I just got done straining the water. You're gonna add the tomatoes right in there.
999. Okay,
Always
so
start
we're
with 2 heaping
fucking
tablespoons
god damn it with the mayo.
of mayonnaise. Heaping as in that. That's heaping. Okay?
That's 3. That's 3 whole fuck
There we go.
5
And then
6.
what you do is you mix it in.
So 6 teaspoons of
see if it's
mayonnaise.
enough. So as you can see, there's some areas that still aren't coated very well. So you go with 1
Oh,
more
the fucking
One more heaping.
horror.
tablespoon.
Oh, we
Looks like
need
3 is gonna be
more.
the magic number. 3 heaping tablespoons to the 1 pound of macaroni.
We totally need more
For
mayo.
every spoonful of mayonnaise, you do a capful
Stop
of vinegar.
fucking adding vinegar.
Top it off with salt. Pepper.
See,
Comes out a
this
little
is what I
slower.
mean by like. This is the one you avoid. Yeah, that's like 3 or 4 tablespoons per heaping. So at most, he said he did 3. That's probably closer to 9 or 12 tablespoons
So you gotta do
of
it a little
mayonnaise.
longer. And then take a moment to mix it in one more time.
No.
So we're just gonna pop a lid on that one too. Put it with the other 2 salads. Let it
No, Four Eyes, you don't get it. Other seasonings would complicate the complex flavors of the macaroni.
chill a little bit. And
Yeah,
we'll
just
take a
add
look.
the entire
It's
fucking
time to
jar.
taste these bad boys. That's what time it is. Oh, did my mouth just water? I think it did. All right.
No, that's your body trying to tell you leave now. That is your body saying leave while you still can.
Now I'm gonna try and do this professionally. Not gonna zoom in like on the pizza video, I promise. But I gotta taste 3 and we gotta close up out of here. So let's try this. Here we go.
Why? Do you have somewhere to go? The restroom?
Okay. Macaroni salad, delicious.
If he
All
ca-
right, let's try the marinade.
I was about to wait for this dude to fucking call it spicy because there was peppers. Yeah, it's pretty much a 0G. It's his body warning him leave now, professionally adding an entire crate of mayonnaise.
Tomatoes. See how those are.
Professionally adding an entire fucking Walmart size like Hellman's can. Wet.
Just enough oil, just to coat the tomatoes. Not too much oil. The oregano sits right on your tongue.
Unless you have really, really high quality like olive oil, standard olive oil you get is not going to have too much of a flavor. It's just going to make oily, wet tomatoes. Don't go back to the better
Absolutely
videos.
delicious.
You see what I mean by like I'm enthralled by this man?
You know what? The chopped onions in there soften just enough. There's a little bit of a crunch. It's
I'm shocked you
beautiful.
found an onion amongst
3
the
of about 7
entire
different salads you can make.
53-ounce
These are my
can of
recipes.
pork and beans.
Enjoy. Keep the emails coming, and we'll talk to you later.
I would
Take
have
care.
avoided the water and added some basil. Yeah, I think she was talking about it earlier. She would add basil, mozzarella, and like basically, I remember the name now, make a caprese salad. He's going to take a massive shit now. Okay. Da, 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 da. And the rest of these are just other people react. Oh, wait. Poor man's filet mignon. Homsman might be something, but his stuff is not too bad, though. Rather do more shit videos. Yeah, the VFX are amazing. This is like my level VFX. Oh my god, there were over 50 episodes. Okay. So, poor man's filet mignon. You know, the steak that costs when you get it at a restaurant over $40-50.
And Jack Scalfani here, and you're cooking with Jack. Welcome back to the show. Forgive my black hat. My yellow one is still a little dirty from my son's little antics with the, you know, the big top cupcake scene. Yeah, you know how that turned out. Anyway, I still have some cupcake.
Do you not do laundry?
So that hat is drying. I had to wash it. But we are back with another episode. It's time to start.
No, I was having fun watching the person review cheap snacks.
That's right. We've done product reviews. We've gone on field trips. We've done specialty holiday events.
This is cool and all. What cut do you got?
Some tips and tricks, okay? So every so often.
Oh, Blue, do you not know about Kay's cooking? I'll sleep now and dream of beans with mayo. Have fun with more amazing recipes. I will, Chi. Get some good rest. I will talk to you tomorrow morning. Bye-bye. Why is my phone going nuts? Who is text? Everyone. Go over there, cell phone. I threw it on my bed gently. Don't worry about it.
It's going to teach you something.
Blue doesn't know.
Or whether it's butterflying, or whether it's just things that you see on cooking shows that you're like, what are they talking about? All right. Here's a little trick right now. For those of you who eat steak or any kind of cut of beef or any meat whatsoever, I guess this would work on.
You're going to find out after this, Blue.
So far, okay. It's called the poor man's filet mignon. And what that does is it's a way of taking a really, and I'm going to be just honest, a really tough, cheap piece of garbage steak, okay? And
he's really downplaying this meat. He's really talking down about it.
Falls apart. I mean, you could probably...
Okay, filet mignon is tender. I would not call it fall apart. It's a good in-between for a steak. If you're doing a roast... you want that to be fall apart, you know, tender. If you're doing a filet mignon, you want it to be tender to an extent.
Pull it apart with your fingers instead of a knife.
No, that's a roast. So that's what you want out of a roast, not a filet mignon.
Really cool. My brother called me one day. Goes, Jack, here, I sent you a link. Check this out online. There's this cool method of
not really going to bed as well as for the oh right, Germany time. Yeah, get some sleep, Blue.
1 to 2 hours, depending how.
I'll put a video in the Butler's chamber Discord in a bit.
Let's show you how. I went to the store, and I bought the cheapest piece of garbage they had on sale. So cheap. All right, it was $1.99 a pound.
Wow, that's
it was 99 cents a pound. I would have brought that home, but it's called, what is it? Select Beef Cross Rib Roast.
Okay, so this is a rib roast. So this is from the it kind of is. Yeah, good night, Blue. If I see another jar of mayo, I'm leaving the stream. I'm hoping there's no mayo with a filet mignon. There better fucking not. So a standing rib roast is from the rib section of the cow, which is the front quarter, where you get your short ribs from, where you get your beef ribs from, and your sirloin, I believe. So it's a pretty, like, the back half of the cow is the expensive half of the cow, because it doesn't really do much work. The front half of the cow is the cheaper half of the cow. That's where you get your, like, tongue cuts. That's where you get your beef ribs. That's where you get short ribs for braising or for slicing and searing. So the front half can be made into good dishes, but it's not usually the one you're looking for if you're going for steaks.
I don't know what that is. I know there's no bones in it. Anyway, let me show you how to do this. We're going to do a side-by-side
Yeah, with the rib
comparison.
roast,
I
it's
had the
usually a
butcher take
chop
thick
off
piece
of the rib
and
meat,
slice it right in the middle. So we have
so there
two
wouldn't be
pieces of
any
the same
bone.
steak. All right? So there's no question about this test. If one comes out more tender than the other, they're from the same steak, okay? All right, so let's take a look. All right, 2 clean pans.
I have doubts
Open up
of
these
your.
steaks.
I have doubts over the term clean. I can see this corner right here, buddy.
One in each.
I thank you
Don't
for
forget to
that.
wash your hands. If you haven't washed your hands, now's a good time to go wash your hands, all right?
Yeah, please wash your hands before touching raw meat. Okay, yeah, that's a pretty
once
standard
again, I
like
took
rib
one
roast.
piece
It has
of
paper on the
meat,
bottom, so I hope to
and I
God
had
he
the butcher
removes it.
Slice it right down the middle, okay? So that it would be the same cut of meat. Ah, beautiful.
I wouldn't have sliced it
love
there.
beef.
I would have sliced it
As you
down
can
the
tell.
half part of the steak,
It just
because
looks
top and
good.
bottoms do
So many
usually
things
have
you can do
different
with it.
flavors.
You can cook it a million different ways.
Nah, eat the paper.
This is not a good cut of beef, okay? I'm just telling you.
I mean, if knowing what this is used for, that's a pretty damn good cut of beef if you're doing like a long-term roast. That will probably be extremely flavorful and tender
That right now.
when you cook
Okay.
it low and slow for a long
Next thing
period
you're
of
going
time.
to do is you're going to take sea salt or kosher salt.
It's all good,
And
Dax.
that's a very coarse salt, and we're going to take that. We're going to
Kosher is not a very coarse salt. It's coarser than, say, table salt, but you can buy like extra flaky salt pretty easily. There's like finishing salt, which is super flaky, and you use it for like finishing a steak to give a crunch to it.
with sea salt. All right, so let's.
If he has to grind
right
it,
now.
then yeah.
Okay, so we're going to do this.
Wait, how many views does this have? Hold on. Yeah, this has
Now the rule
almost
is this.
13 million views.
Find out how thick your steak is. Ours,
Shit, I'm doing the wrong
about an inch
type
and a
of
half.
channel.
Okay.
I just need
So
to make
you're gonna
shit
have
food,
to leave this
apparently.
on an
This
inch.
was also on like
is an
Penguin, like Critical
So an inch and a
Show.
half
This
would be
was
an
also
hour
on a
and
couple
half.
big
Once
reaction
again,
channels.
Every inch is an hour you leave this salt on.
Okay, so he's doing something here somewhat, which is called dry brining. So dry brining is basically covering a steak in salt and leaving it to basically rest in a refrigerator overnight. Now, if I was doing this, I would be not adding that much salt to the top. You basically just want to cover the steak in salt and then get every edge of it. Then put it on top of a cooling rack so that air circulates on the bottom as well. Yeah, basically marinating in salt. So the salt actually penetrates through the meat and gets the flavors deep down into it. It will come out a deeper red color and a better flavor. So this actually is a legit cooking technique. I'm just waiting for him to butcher
If
it.
it's half an inch, then you do half an hour. Quarter of an inch, quarter of an hour. All right.
I wouldn't be doing it for that short of a time. If you're doing a dry brine, which is what he's basically setting up for, I would do minimum 2 hours, maximum like overnight 8 hours. That would be my maximum for a steak in dry brining.
Don't be afraid to put too much on because we're gonna wash this right off when we're done. But this is
Yeah,
going to do something to the
with
meat.
dry brining, you usually add enough to where you don't need
Really
to wash it
interesting.
off because it basically just absorbs it all.
There we go.
This has way
Got the
too
whole thing
much.
covered.
And he's not covering the sides, he's not covering the bottom,
we go.
he's not making
Now, I
sure
don't know why
any
this
of this
works.
is sticking.
I'm sure some of you do, and you can write me in and tell me.
I
But
just
what's
did.
gonna happen is it's gonna pull the moisture out of this meat, and it's
It's not going to pull the moisture out, it's going to pull the salt in through the process of osmosis.
also gonna do something to the protein molecules. It's gonna break them down.
It's
What's
okay.
gonna happen?
The problem is, I now see the error in his ways. He's trying to use dry brine, which is a flavor enhancer, as a tenderizing agent, which it is not. The way you tenderize beef is you either leave it in pineapple puree for like an hour, or you leave it on a table and you pound it out with a tenderizing hammer, which basically unlocks a lot of those like locked up muscle fibers that make meat tough and chewy and loosen them up. while also flattening out the steak. Salt by itself won't tenderize meat, I don't believe.
And it's this simple piece of meat, as you can see, it's pretty tough. See how it doesn't? there's no
Yeah,
openings?
it's pretty
Okay,
tough.
pull it
Yeah, it
apart.
need to be cooked low and
Okay,
slow.
This is gonna open up the meat.
Why did I
It
come
does
to the
something
cooking?
the
I'm
protein
scared. You
molecules.
should be, Remy.
I don't
Hi.
know the science to it. I just know it works, and I'm just gonna show you guys right now.
yes,
So
of
we're gonna let
course.
this set for. Let's break out my measuring tape. That is about. You know what? That's about
Half-inch thick?
an inch and a quarter.
Oh, an inch and a
We're gonna do an
quarter.
hour
So
and
that
15
meant
minutes,
2.5 inches
I'll be
on
back
the
in around
original
15 minutes
roast.
to show you exactly
Why
what
did
I'm
he
talking
powder
about.
over the meat? Okay, so he's basically coated this entire top side in kosher salt, which, if he was doing a flavor enhancement process, would be called dry brining. He's trying to use it as a tenderizing process, which it isn't.
Notice there's no moisture or water in there, just the salt. No moisture
He also
or
didn't
water in
cover
this one.
the bottom or the
All right,
sides.
let's check this out in an hour. And
Also,
15
for a dry brine, yeah, that's way too fucking much.
minutes. You're watching the Cooking with Jack show.
I wish I wasn't.
Right after this message.
I don't see
Hey,
it.
how you doing? Jack Scalfani here. Just want to tell you about my line of
Look,
sauces. They're called the best
I've
sauces
seen
you'll
your
ever
cooking.
taste. That's right.
I
It's
don't
called the best
fucking want
barbecue
your
sauce you'll ever
sauce.
taste. Here's the best hot barbecue sauce you'll ever taste, the best teriyaki sauce you'll ever taste, and the best gourmet seasoning you'll ever taste. All of them come with a money-back guarantee, and if you live in the
Oh,
United
thank
States of America,
God they come with a
I
money-back
give you free
guarantee.
shipping. I'm pleased to
Eating the
announce
shit
that
out
my
of
friends in the Great White North in Canada, I have now set up an order page for Canadian orders. I don't do free
Oh,
shipping.
yay!
but
Our Canadian friends can get the sauce too! Yay!
now Canadians can order the sauce.
Beating the shit out of
Go
Jack.
check it out. Go to the best.
No, no need to beat the shit out of Jack.
And now back to
The comments have done that for
It's been
him,
an hour and 15 minutes, and you
saying
can
they've
see
been
that all the
disabled.
salt
Oh, these are
has
disabled. We can go through
really
them.
Become moist.
Let's go.
Only it's drawing all the water out of it. You
Send
can
it to
also
Gore.
see-
Hell yeah.
if you turn
Actually,
this
no.
and
I don't
move
think
over a
sending it
little
to Gore right now is the greatest of
this.
ideas.
You can see like the salt. There's a lot of moisture.
Okay, yeah.
down in-
So the dry brine has started to work. You can basically see the salt starting to like pull moisture and get pulled into the meat, and the meat's starting to get redder where the salt is. He did not give it enough time. Guaranteed he did not give it enough
there,
time
collecting
to
And
dry
you can
brine
see where
correctly.
the
And he also did not cover
water
the sides. He did not
coming out
cover
of the steak.
the bottom,
It's just coming right
and
out
he
of
didn't let the bottom
so
get any air, so it's
it's
not going to
doing
be
something
really
to this
seasoned
meat,
to the
so we're
full
going
potential,
to
except on
Take
one
both
side.
of these and get them prepared for cooking. All right, first thing you do.
All right, first thing we're going to do,
is
get rid
rinse
of
the
any
entire thing
semblance
of
of flavor.
salt. There we go. Get
Yes,
all the
Dax?
salt off it. And look, what you notice is, see all those openings?
Yeah, those are puncturings by the salt.
Look at all
That
those
isn't
groove
actually
openings.
tenderizing.
Kind of pull apart a little bit here.
No,
It's really penetrated the
it
meat.
looks the exact same as the other
Get a
steak.
good rinse.
Yes, thank you, Dax.
Now,
I'm enthralled
see,
by this man.
Kind of very loose.
Yeah, so
still.
he covered it in kosher salt just to wash all of the salt off, when the salt didn't truly actually get through the meat at all. So this is not only going to be a lot blander than it could have been, it's also going to taste watery because it's going to steam the instant he hits the pan unless
I'll
he
show you
dries
at the
this
other-
off.
At the table. Okay, let's look at the difference
That's still wet. He did not dry that off.
of the meat. Okay.
Okay, so steak on the left is going to cook like a bad steak. Steak on the right is going to steam like a bad steak.
Take a look at how this,
As an
This is
American
been
dragon,
not
I'm
treated.
fucking triggered.
how it kind of just.
Yeah,
straight
it
out
looks
of the
like your
counter,
standard rib
okay?
roast.
And look at this.
And
This
this
is a
looks
lot
like a
more
rib roast
falling
that
apart. You guys
started to
see
go
the
through a
grooves?
dry
See the
brine.
separation? You see
It
that
looks the
separation
exact
right
same.
there? The separation.
The,
right
the
in
muscle
there, all
fibers
these
look
grooves
exactly
that
the
are
fucking
created,
same.
It just seems to be falling apart in my hands. It's not quite as firm. Here, let me turn it the right way. There we go. There you go.
They look the exact same.
Okay. Seems to have opened up.
Throw them in the
meat.
garbage?
Really
Yes, that's
interesting.
probably a good idea, Remy.
So there you go. Now we're gonna take these out and we're gonna grill these. Now once this is clean of salt, season.
I will say this, no matter what you do to a rib roast, it's never going to be a good steak. Steak is steak for a reason. Steak you cook at high temps quickly because it can handle that. Roast you cook low and slow because that unlocks not only the flavor of the meat, but it also like allows it to separate and tenderize over that low and slow time. That's the reason why you won't be seeing brisket at your local steakhouse unless it's a barbecue joint. Because with brisket, you need to cook it low and slow for a period of hours to unlock its flavor, because it's a really tough, dense cut of meat. This should be cooking with Sally, yeah. This is Sally basically spouting knowledge he has about cooking, which is better than this man who is spouting bullshit. With a roast, if you just grill it like a steak, it's going to be fucking Sal Ramsey. I'm not cursing enough at this man for me to be Ramsey. More like Alvin from like MasterChef Canada, where I'm tough on this guy, but it's for the better. If you cook these like you cook a steak, it is going to be inedible.
Season both of these is however you want. I'm going to season them up. I'm going to take them out to the grill and bring them right back. And then we're going to do a taste test to see if this
You
opened up
fucking
and got
donkey.
more tender than this one. Okay, these just...
As you can see, they have both turned into lifeless husks because this man, in fact, does not know how to grill. There is no grill marks on this steak. There is indentations from where it was sitting on the grill. It's bleeding because he didn't let it sit for long enough. That's the only reason. It'll reabsorb if he actually rests the steak, which, knowing him, he won't. So I'm going to say this. No, you can do grilled steaks and you can do them well. Are you high that is bleeding fucking meat? I mean, yes. But if you rest it, some of it will reabsorb. It's mostly myoglobin. It's nothing terrible. It doesn't like affect flavor. Now, if this is like blue rare, because I think that barely touched the grill for too long, because there's like evidence of charring on the sides here where the fat cap was, but there's like no evidence of grill mark, where there's like slight sear and grill mark on this. And this one went second. I can tell because the heat's higher. No, that's not normal at all.
I want to show you some similarities and some differences.
Yeah, this one definitely went first because it's paler and the temperature was obviously lower. This one went second when the temperature was higher. He did not moderate his temperatures. He did not open and close the grill. Yeah, he's fucking American. He should know better. This one, yeah, this one was when the grill was hotter.
Okay, now I noticed while cooking, these were cooked on over their own flame. Each one had a flame underneath it on the barbecue. They were cooked.
There's no fucking way he cooked these at the same time. There's no fucking way. Unless there was a fire over this one and not over this one. Because if you look, there's not grill marks. There's grill indentations. Yeah, X to fucking doubt. There was no fire under this one. At least when it was on this side. That is indentations. That means it was not hot enough. You did not get a sear. You got a cook. This has evidence of a sear on like this half of it. Not really that back half. But there's grill marks. Yeah, the one on the right looks fucking raw.
Same position, same amount of time I pulled them off. But the weird thing
I
is,
don't fucking believe you.
One looks like it curled up a little bit right on this end. And
it's because the muscle fibers tense up.
It kind of curled up and it kind of...
Also, how much you want to fucking bet he did not season these steaks? I do not see any pepper on any of these.
But look at this one right here. This one's interesting because this still, I like my steak rare. This looks rare.
Oh no, I forgot. Oh no. Remy, you remember saying how it was undercooked? we saw a compilation where this guy made a burger and he was saying, I like my burgers rare. I think he doesn't truly understand what the fuck rare is. I think he just equates rare with blue rare, which is basically touching a pan and then flipping, where it's still raw on the inside. Rare has a cook to it, but it still has like the pink on the inside. He made his burger blue rare, which is all raw except a sear on the outside. Which I will say, from eating it, there are very few steaks you can pull that off with. Yeah, he is a goddamn papega. There are very few steaks you can pull off with blue rare. Because blue rare, you better have fucking tender meat or it shows. Because none of the fat renders, none of the connective tissue breaks down. Nothing that makes a steak tender and juicy happens. So usually if you're going to blue rare, that better be a damn tender and damn good cut of steak. Otherwise, you're probably going to get what this guy's going to get, which is a fucking jaw
Looks
exercise.
well done. They look completely different. They look like they were
There's no fucking way you
different
cook these on the
times.
same grill unless your
So-
charcoal was completely uneven.
But one more thing I want to do before I want to lift these up and see which one has more juice before we cut into it.
I bet his barbecue sauce tastes like fucking A1. Oh yeah, it's gonna be blue
Okay,
rare.
this one
I
definitely
I didn't fully see how much blood there was. Oh, that's gonna be blue rare.
More juice than this one. All right, but we're going to cut into these bad boys right now. Let me bring over a plate. This is the one seasoned with the salt. This
How
is
much
the
you
one
wanna
not
bet
seasoned
he
with
didn't
salt.
truly
Cut
rest
right
these?
into 'em.
That's not juice. That's
See
myoglobin.
exactly how they cooked.
All right, let's see it, chat. Wait,
Oh, yeah,
hold on.
Nice and rare.
No, that's actually a rare. Hold on. No, that's pretty solid rare. That's not blue rare. Blue rare wouldn't be pink. Actually, no, hold on. I'd say that's more a medium rare. Looking at it further.
Rare.
That's a medium
Hey,
rare,
that's beautiful. Let's take a look at this one.
which is a damn
Same
good
spot.
cook for a steak. Let's see this one. That's
Same
rare.
thing.
That's
They're both
rare.
Beautiful. Let's take a look now and see.
Okay, yeah. Let's look at these again. Yeah, the one on the right is a bit more rare than the one on the left. I kind of agree with Dax. Right is like on the cusp of rare to medium rare. I'd say that's medium rare to medium.
See.
Like
See if
right on
one's
the
more
in-between
tender than
line.
The other. You try and tear this meat open with my fingers.
Oh,
Pretty A little nervy. I lied. was
I
a
would
little
use
tougher than I
gloves as
thought,
well.
But you can do it. Now let's go over here and look at this. Same spot.
Same amount of pressure, because
That goes right through. Wow.
wow.
Beautiful. That was a lot easier. Now, I think if you left the salt on a little bit longer, you would even have a better
I would agree
tenderizing
if you were
procedure.
serving it to
All right, so
people.
here's the
I
deal.
think he's the only one eating
take a
both
piece
of
of meat
these
here.
quote unquote steaks.
Wow, I know what I'm having for dinner.
Okay, chat, let's play a game. Let us play Count the Knife Strokes. A good steak should probably be around 4 to 5. Let's see how many it takes this man's
All right, so here's the deal.
to cut a
gonna take a
slice
piece of
of
meat here.
steak. 1, 2, 3,
Wow, I
4,
know what
5,
I'm having
6,
for dinner.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
There's one piece there. I want the same size here.
1,
We're gonna
2,
try this
3.
right now. We let the meat set. It should be perfect. This is the untreated.
He's getting a jaw workout.
Good seasoning. Wow, lots of pepper. Forgive me.
Okay, what is it? Fucking 3. Yeah. So
I love black pepper.
I think that was from the piece he like tore off. So it was already shredded.
Okay.
By the way, Remy, I don't know if you were here or not for this. This is not a steak. This is not a sirloin. This is not a fillet. This is not a normal steak cut. This is a standing rib roast that he cut in half. He treated one with salt. That's a fucking rib roast. He said it was a rib roast. I don't know if I can fully trust this man, but that is what he said it was. He fucking cooked a rib roast like a steak. I think Remy knows as well as I do. A roast implies that you roast it. Low and slow. By treated, Sal means smothered on one side. Yeah. Yeah, no, this is the poor man's filet mignon. No, I know. I told them, Remy, you don't cook a goddamn roast like a steak because what you're going to get instead of a steak is a jaw exercise. Yeah, steak is fast and high. Roast is low and slow. The reason you don't cook a roast too fast and too high of a heat is because the muscle fibers will just tense up and basically form a fucking hockey puck. And by the way, his signifier for a filet mignon-like quality is it should be pull apart. Which if you've ever had a filet, it's not pull apart. It still has meat, like meatiness to it. It still has a little chew. This shit's an abomination, yes.
It's really got a lot of flavor, but it immediately toughens up almost all the juices out of it, and it's now becoming...
Wow, almost all the juice is out of it? Fuck, it's almost like you didn't rest the meat. Or you cooked a roast like a steak. I'm sorry.
harder to chew.
This is...
Now, the
as an
peanut butter.
American, this offends me. This fucking offends me. Burn that fucking gaggle fuck of a rib roast
This
and
is more
bury
like a
that
New
poor
York
animal.
steak.
Yeah.
I think we've upgraded to a...
Bessie didn't live a long life eating grass and shitting cow pies to be treated like this.
New York steak right here.
Hachima is at least joking. I think this man is
It's
serious.
breaking up real easy.
Hachima
it
can
definitely
probably
makes a
cook
difference.
an amazing
I've
meal
done
if
this
she
before,
actually tried.
But I had to share it with you guys.
This man, I think, is serious.
Delicious. I'm gonna get a little A1.
Reverse searing myth. Bitch.
I'm gonna sit down with these steaks and we're gonna have a conversation going.
Yeah, as I fucking said, he's eating both of these. I'm not gonna watch his garlic cauliflower because I actually like that dish. Yeah, no, don't put A1. I'd say don't put A1 on any fucking steak. If you cook a steak well, you don't need steak sauce. Guaranteed you do not need steak sauce. Let's see what the comments say real quick. Hey buddy, I watched this video and thought you were crazy, but I'm a believer now. So glad I found your video. Thanks for the tip. Works great, and I mean great. Why not salt? Why not salt not only the top but also under it? Yes. Poor man steak, beef flavored ramen pack. That's the true poor man steak. Just got the sweet mustard sauce with no added sugar here in Alberta, and it's great. Early Cro-Magnon discovering how to preserve meat. Brining the meat cuts down on the moisture loss during cooking. It does. Hi there, Chef Dean here. The reason why that this works is that the salt breaks down the connective tissue in the meat. You are not a fucking chef. No, salt does not break down connective tissue. Salt does not penetrate fat. Salt does not penetrate sinew. Yeah, my ass, you are a chef, Dean. Salt in a dry brine does not penetrate the fat, so you don't use it for fatty cuts of meat, because if you used it for, say, a Wagyu, where it's like 90% fat, 10% meat, it won't penetrate a ton of the steak. Let's see more of Chef Dean's wrongs. Just a thought for you. Next time, salt both sides of the meat and go for between 2 to 3 hours per inch of meat. I mean, if you're doing a dry brine, that is the correct way to do it, but dry brine does not tenderize the steak. It only flavors the steak. Basically, what you're doing is dry aging them. You're not dry aging. No. 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 That's not fucking dry aging. Okay. For context, dry aging is a process where you put steak under a vacuum in a semi-permeable membrane.
Thank you for the host.
Thank you for the host, Ova. And you put it for months in a fridge. Hi there, Salivor and friends. Good to see you all here. Hope all is well in this lovely stream. I have some very exciting news. Twitter, nothing else good to hear. I can't wait to hear it, Josie. That sounds amazing. I have exciting things happening this week as well. So stay tuned. So yeah, dry aging is basically the process of like what's the good way to put it? Like breaking down the tissue through the process of controlled decomposition. It's the same thing as like fermenting. Basically, you're allowing good bacteria to come in, break down the meat and the connective tissues to add flavor to the steak. You cut off what's called the pellicose on the outside, which is the dried out, really fermented outside of the steak. And you're left with a really flavorful, like basically condensed steak flavor. What he is doing is what is called a dry brine, which is basically salting both sides of the meat and letting it sit and basically absorb all that salt. He is not dry aging in the slightest. It is not enough time to actually get any sort of meaningful decomposition of the meat. So, no, Dean, Chef Dean, you are not fucking dry aging in that short amount of time. No amount of bacteria would be affecting it at that time. Look at Roy Harrell. Brining, what you did with the salt is called brining. What you did with the A1 is called ruining. Yep. Bet you can't guess what I've been playing lately. I don't know, Dova. I love that comment. It's so true, though. He's doing a dry brine, and A1 ruined steaks. Nice. Nice, Dova. So coat both sides in a good thick layer, stick in the fridge, pull it and let it come to room temp before you rinse it. No. If you're doing dry brine correctly and well, what you want to do is put a layer of salt on all sides. So not just top and bottom. You want to get the sides. You want to get every portion of the meat where there is meat. You can avoid fat caps, but pretty much anywhere with meat, you want that salt to be there. Then you stick it in the fridge under a cooling rack so that air can get to the bottom of the steak as well, so that the salt can get in. Also, you don't need to really wash the meat. If there's excess salt on the top from, say, a fat cap, all you really need to do is just take a paper towel and wipe the meat. You don't need to rinse it. Rinsing meat gets rid of flavor. Pat the meat dry and let it rest about 15 minutes while you spice it up. If you're spicing for 15 minutes, you're taking too damn long. Then barbecue the steak. You won't believe your mouth. Give it a shot with the same cut of meat. You won't believe the difference. Dean, you're a fucking liar. I want to watch this video because I want to see good food cooked. This is Guga Cooking. If you haven't seen him, this guy is basically insane. he cooks like Wagyu basically weekly. Sorry, Dax, I need some good food. I'm sorry. Like, see, this is...
For today's cook, I'm going to show you how I took my cast iron skillet to a complete new level.
Like, just look
You're going to
at
be seeing
this.
some incredible meats that you would normally not cook on one.
Yeah, Remy, if you're a fan of Hell's Kitchen, he's basically fucking Raj. Yeah, same. These are the food videos that just make me like... This is the shit I
and
like.
some turn out just awesome. Others, not so much. And the main goal
Right.
for this video is to see if the cast iron skillet can cook every single meat. So let's do it.
I think this is better than those Bon Appetit videos that were
And we're gonna
popular
start
a
off
couple
with the
years back.
Flintstone steak. As the name says it, it is the biggest steak you can actually find.
Okay, Remy, this is a Brazilian cut of steak that is basically a leg of a cow cut. It is an entire leg section with bone marrow. You know what it is? I've not found many people who do. I'm not really taking
And this is
suggestions at the
reason
moment, Tova.
why. As you can see,
Just
it is
look at that gigantic fucking hunk of bone marrow. Guys, this is thighs. Dude, we're grilling thigh. Okay, if you guys have never in your life eaten bone marrow, do it. I swear to God, it is the butteriest, most like flavorful part of any
a
cow.
monster steak. It is also not very popular and very difficult to find. But when you have a great
Yeah,
meat dealer, he
like
can
where I'm
always
from,
hook
you have to
up.
special
And
order
as
this
you can
fucking
see,
thing.
this one even has some bone marrow, which is definitely a plus. It is also about 1 inch thick. In regards to size, we're talking about 10 inches by 15 inches. And I know you're going to ask me for the weight. It is a 7.5 pound steak. Now take a look at my
Dude, okay. Yeah, fucking I lost. I lost. Oh my God. That thing takes up the entire cutting board.
skillet. There's absolutely no way that this thing is going to fit in here, but we're definitely going to make it happen. From previous experiments with this steak, I know that if you don't cut out the fat on the edges, it will curl up on you. So
Okay, that's one way to trim it down. I'd also say no. A wok
if
is
you happen to
probably a
get
bad
one of these,
idea.
make sure you remove the fat all the way around.
You'd
And just
probably
in case
want to
you are
sear
wondering,
it in the
steak is
cast
still
iron
the
and
same
maybe
exact size.
grill
I
it.
just took out the fat around. For the seasoning, I kept it quite simple. A little bit of salt,
Yeah, with a
freshly
steak
ground
like
black
that,
pepper, and garlic powder.
simple
Since this is a
seasonings
huge
are gonna
steak,
do well.
make sure you season both sides. As you can see, by the time I was done, it's
Oh, wait, Chad, I noticed something.
powder. Since this is a huge
Look at how much fucking bone marrow is on that back half. Oh, I fucking lost. That is so much bone marrow.
steak, make sure you season both sides. As you can see, by the time I was done, it's perfectly seasoned. To cook it, in order to ensure I have
Bone
enough
marrow
heat, I'm
is the
using my
butteriest,
powerful gas
best part of a
stove.
steak.
So I started by adding a little bit of grapeseed oil into the cast
Okay,
iron
grapeseed
skillet.
is a
Once it
high
was up to
heat
temperature,
oil.
I
That's gonna be
added my
great.
steak, and that was extremely challenging. You gotta move it around from edge to edge, make sure you fit that steak as best as you can, and it is very challenging. You just gotta wiggle it, push it, tuck it, and some way, somehow I was able to fit it in. But that is what I would like to call a very tight squeeze. After cooking it for about 2 minutes, it was now time to flip. And once I did, oof, it is another tight squeeze. But as you can see, the cast iron skillet
The edges,
is working like a
okay.
charm.
One thing I will complain, and it's a problem of the pan, not a problem of the steak. The edges aren't getting the great sear that a cast iron can give you. Yeah, this guy's voice is butter. Oh, look at how seared the bone marrow is, though, Remy. Yeah, the middle is where, like, this is the Maillard or the fucking, like, sear you want on a steak.
My goal is to reach an
The
internal
edges are
temperature of
basically
135 degrees
boiled in the
Fahrenheit
fat.
with this steak. And for that, I recommend flipping it as much as possible. But that is easier said than done. But after flipping it around several times, I was finally able to reach the internal temperature. And this is what I was left with. Here we have the Flintstone steak cooked on a cast iron. In Brazil, we call this steak
after the
capitão.
shit
And
we
that's because
watched
it's
before,
the captain of all steaks.
this is a
You will
fucking
not find
reward.
bigger steak than this. I can't wait any longer, and it's time to cut it open. And once I
It's
did,
good, Dova.
perfectly medium rare, just the way I like it. It will be a crime to cook it well done.
Yeah,
and
porn's
as you can
not
see,
necessary.
The cast iron skillet did its job perfectly. And as I'm
No,
waiting for
it's
the bite, I'll tell you one thing: it is not the most tender steak I've ever had.
I don't
it does
fucking
have a
care.
wonderful flavor, and if you ever
This is literally the steak I want, only because it just achieves the fantasy of being a fucking Flintstone. It achieves the like American fucking dream of just a gigantic steak on a plate in front of you. This is the most American cut that is hard as hell to get in America.
want to cook a monster steak like
I
this,
don't
make
know
sure you
why
cut
this
it
is not
real
more
thin,
popular.
because I'll tell you
This looks like the most American steak I've ever fucking seen.
one thing,
It's
this is
7
not a tasty
pounds.
steak. It is one that you can feed the whole family.
That's
and
what?
It should
How many
definitely be on your
fucking-
bucket list at least once. Moving on to the very next cook, we're talking about pork chops. Delicious,
many
beautiful pork
kilos
chops
would
that it's
that be? Or, like,
perfectly cooked
grams?
with your cast iron skillet. This one is gonna be good. And of
Are we
course, we
gonna
start
cook a
off with the
tomahawk in this?
beautiful pork chops. As you can see, these are bone-in, and most importantly,
Oh,
they
bone-in
have
pork
wonderful
chops. I will say, if you don't like pork chops, bone-in will change your fucking mind. Yeah, give me that golden brown, baby!
marbling throughout the meat. As you already know, this is a sign that it's gonna be nice and
Bone
tasty.
always
The first thing I
adds
like to do
flavor,
is to
because what's the
transfer it
thing
to a
is,
steak
the
plate
bone
so that
marrow
my
within
seasoning
the
will not
meat
fly all over
will
the place.
melt
Talking
and add
about
flavor
seasoning,
to
I
the
started
meat.
with salt, followed by fresh
And since these looks like, oh, they did the right thing, they cut the bone so that when you sear this off and the bone hits the pan, that bone marrow is going to melt out and basically make a wonderful fucking fat butter for this pork chop, which is going to add even more flavor. This is how you want your tomahawk pork chops cut.
ground
This
black
is going to
pepper,
be
garlic
so
powder, and
flavorful.
obviously, Guga's rub.
Me and the
You can
boys
use
about
any
to
type of
bust a
seasoning
pork
you
chop.
like, just make sure you season both sides. To
By
cook
the
it,
way, I
you-
wouldn't recommend using a pre-made mix. His Guga's Rub is a mix he makes himself that he has a recipe for on a different video. Check out his channel, please. Go for it, Dova. But yeah, don't use
you
seasoning
want to keep
rubs.
it under medium heat. As you can see, they are about an inch
Yeah,
and a
'cause he
half thick.
cares.
And if you keep the temperature too high, they'll just burn on you. Flip them as many times as necessary. The old saying of only flip once is not really true.
No,
and by
not for
flipping
pork
them
chops.
multiple times, it will ensure that they cook evenly. And of course, do not forget to sear the fat and the edges. Because if there's one thing that
Come
you've got to cook to perfection, is
Look at all the
actually
fat in the
fat.
pan,
If
too.
you
That's
have great
causing a
long tongues like
bunch
I
of
do
amazing
right here,
flavors.
Make sure you use them. As you can see, they are perfect to hold your pork chops exactly the way it needs to be. As they are cooking, you are
Fuck,
looking
say
for an
so.
internal temperature of 145 degrees
By the way,
Fahrenheit.
this is the channel that taught me that if you pull the tab on like a locking tongs, it just holds the meat there. Meanwhile, there's me doing like backyard barbecues, literally holding this by hand, feeling the tongs trying to release, and like killing my hand cooking
That
multiple
will
of
give you
these.
perfect doneness for the pork chops. Once that internal
Once I
temperature
found out
was
through this
reached,
channel that you
see
can do
they are
that, I
cooked to
just started
perfection. Now
cursing.
you want to let them
It
rest for
made
at
me
least
so
3
angry.
minutes, which is the perfect timing for us to make a sauce. So using the same cast iron skillet, I threw in a bunch
Yes,
of white mushrooms.
pork fat and
you want to cook
mushrooms.
them until you get a nice golden brown color, just like this. To help reduce the moisture and also season them, I threw in a little bit of salt. Mix them well and make sure you remove that moisture.
Pork
to deglaze
fat
the
and
pan and add more
caramelized
flavor, I'm using
mushrooms.
half a cup of marsala wine. Make sure to mix it
Yes!
well and remove all that goodness from the bottom. Then throw in 1
Oh,
cup of chicken
after-
stock and mix it well. To finish
I would
it
even
up,
say
added
keep
about a
the pork
teaspoon of
flavor,
garlic
use a pork
paste,
stock.
followed by a teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper and half a cup of heavy cream. Now there's left
Yes,
to do
this
tune
is
out
the
2
most, like,
tablespoons of butter,
classic
mix it well, and
fucking
your
cream
sauce is
peppercorn
done.
sauce.
That, friends, is exactly what you're looking for. For a
with
nice,
mushroom
beautiful
as well.
finishing presentation, add in your pork chops, followed by a little bit of freeze-dried parsley, and you are left
Remy,
with a
you need a
beautiful
bit?
pork chop that anyone will love. That is perfect for any occasion, whether you're going on a date night or just serving yourself. This one will never disappoint. And as you can see, it was cooked to perfection.
fucking
And just
hell.
in case you are wondering, yes, a little bit of pink on your
yep, a little
pork
bit of pink is fine.
absolutely okay. And I'll tell you one thing, this was absolutely delicious. And using that mushroom cream sauce to go along with it just
baby.
takes everything to a whole new level. Now
I'm
let's
sorry
move
if
into
I
the master
sound...
of all holiday roasts, because I'm talking about prime rib.
Yes!
And as you can see, this one is going to be phenomenal. And of course, we start off with a beautiful standing rib roast. As you can see, this one has two bones.
This is the steak that one fuck had. This is the steak Jack had. Or not even a steak. This is the roast Jack had and butchered. Let's watch a man do it correctly.
And it will feed
Let's
anywhere
watch my
between
man do
3
it
to
right.
4 people. To make sure that my seasoning will stick, I like to also
He got the
trim
boneless
edges.
version, so it's
As you
not a
might know,
standing
salt
rib
cannot
roast. It's
penetrate
just a rib
fat.
roast.
So to make sure that we got seasoning throughout the whole meat, the external fat has to go.
Yep,
the very
it
next
does.
thing I like
Get
to
rid
do
of it.
is to French the bone. This is completely
Yes.
unnecessary and it's for presentation purposes
100%.
only. The easiest way to do it is to use a meat hook. You can also use a very old knife. Definitely don't use your fancy
you'd want to use a
knives
very
for
old
this.
knife.
Because as you can see, by the time I was
Yeah, look at that. Look at that. I can
done, I
only
was left
get
with
so
beautiful
red.
bones. And as I mentioned, it is for presentation
Basically, Jack had a boneless version of this.
Zone.
And
To ensure
butchered
that
it.
it maintains its shape
Let's
throughout the
watch
cooking
what this
process,
can be
I like to
turned
dress
into.
it with butcher's twine. Now, to me, this is one of the most important steps. This is a thick piece of meat, and if you just season it
Everyone
with salt
welcome
right now
Satan,
and put it
yeah.
directly into the oven to
That
cook,
was the last
I can
couple videos
almost
we watched,
guarantee you
Nova.
that prime rib will not be perfect, and that's because the
Uh-huh.
salt will not have enough time to penetrate nicely and deeply into the meat. So for that, I like to use what's called dry brine.
Yep,
it is
he's
just
gonna
a
explain
fancy
the thing I
word
was talking
which
about
means
earlier.
season it with salt and leave it overnight on your refrigerator. The bigger
Yes!
the meat, the longer you should leave it. Just keep
Cooling
in mind
rack!
to never exceed 48 hours. But after 24 hours, I took it out of the refrigerator and checked that out.
That's what you want to see after you're done with the fucking dry brine. See how rosy red and just amazingly seasoned this meat is, and see what I said again, how there's still salt left on the fat because it didn't absorb. Oh, fuck yes. This is what you want out of your steak. Hi, Lilith. We're getting very excited over steak. How are you doing? Back to what I was saying. This is what you want out of a dry brine. This is why you spend the time overnight or 24 hours to get this level of rosy red throughout the meat. That is going to be well seasoned throughout. Not just on the surface, not just on the top, throughout this steak. Or roast. This is a roast, not a steak. That is a thing of beauty.
Salt is completely gone, but as you can see, the fat did not absorb it, and that is one of the reasons I like to trim it all out first. The next thing we gotta do is quite important, which will develop the additional flavor.
yes,
and that
this is my
to make
favorite part of a
seasoned
prime
butter.
rib.
I started with 1 teaspoon of black pepper, followed by another one of chili flakes, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 2 teaspoons of Guga's rub, 2 teaspoons of onion powder, 6 tablespoons of room temperature butter, and mix it well. Make sure you combine all of those ingredients together, because once you're done, you should be left with a
Compound butters are like the
seasoned
easiest way
butter
to make
just
steaks
like this.
and like
But now going
roasts.
back to
Amazing.
our prime rib, it's time to cook it. So I set my cast iron to medium-high heat and make
Remy,
sure to
please
get a
do.
nice seared on all sides, including the edges. Once I completed the searing throughout the whole thing, you can see I was left with a beautiful prime rib. Pretty much every single piece is perfectly crusted, and that is exactly what you're looking for.
I agree
While it's still
entirely,
hot, I
Lilith.
like to put it in a cooling rack so that I
Even
can
doing
start
like a
applying my
simple one with like salted butter, chives, and like bacon would
butter,
probably
and make
improve
sure
your
you
eggs.
get every single edge, because that is what will give your prime rib additional flavor.
Yes,
And
I
do
do
not
make
be
my own
shy,
black garlic
friends.
compound
I know
butter,
you
and
heard
it's
the saying,
amazing for
butter makes
steaks.
everything better. And believe me when I tell you, for a prime rib,
Look
that is
at this,
absolutely
all
true.
the
To ensure
butter.
that I'm cooking it to the perfect doneness, I am going to be using my wireless thermometer. Talking about that, I'm aiming for an internal temperature of 135 degrees Fahrenheit. Now all there's left to do is to set my oven to 250
I will say,
degrees
like during the
Fahrenheit and throw
holidays,
my
if you
prime rib
have
in
the
there.
good
Let it
cook
cook until your
relative,
desired internal temperature is
I saw it,
reached.
Remy.
And once mine was, I took it out of the oven.
if
set it
you
in
get
my
the
cutting
relative
board,
who's the
and that
good
is a
cook,
perfectly cooked prime rib.
this is the
I mean,
shit
there's
you
not
look
much to
forward
say.
to in the
It is
holidays.
the perfect roast for the holidays or any occasion, as a matter of fact.
Cut
That,
it.
my
Show me-
friends, is
show
as
me what
good
the
as it
inside
gets.
looks like.
To carve it, the first thing you want to do is remove the butcher's
Yep,
twine.
get
Then
rid
I
of that
recommend
thread.
slicing the bones out. This will make the job nice and easy. Get yourself a nice
Also,
big slicer and go to town.
If
And
you're
as
the
I took my
favorite person of the household, I'm going to go back a bit. What you do is you ask for this, because the meat on that bone is the best part of the prime rib.
Make the job nice and easy. Get yourself a nice big slicer and go to town. And as I took my first slice, even
Look
though
at
it
that
was
shit,
rested,
Remy.
you can see
Look at
this
that
thing
shit.
is extremely juicy. I would say it's
Lilith,
the Niagara Fall of beef, and it's basically meat
I might
heaven.
need you
I'll
to
tell
make
you one
food
thing,
for
as
me.
I go in for my first bite,
I'm
take
still
a look
learning
at
how to
this.
cook. I'm
Absolutely
getting better.
perfection. It is one of those things.
Yeah,
that
this
you
is
cook and it brings
amazing. Look at
memories. And for
this.
thick cuts like this, definitely use the dry brine technique. And whenever you're ready to cook your next holiday roast, using your cast iron skillet will definitely
You just
do
take
the
a
job,
bite of this and your
because
clothes go
this one was
flying
truly
offline.
delicious. Now the next one is truly special, and I think the cast iron
lamb.
was made 100% to make this. And we're talking about lamb chops. And the first thing
I think lamb is an underrated fucking meat here. Lamb is so utterly flavorful and so useful in so many dishes. And I just don't think a ton of cook cook enough lamb here. Lamb is the shit. Please cook
which
lamb.
is super easy to do. So into the pesto and mortar, I threw in a little bit of black pepper, crushed it well until it was completely pulverized. Then I threw in some garlic, followed by parsley, thyme, and salt. Crushed it well and make sure
This is a good way to get a
combined
nice,
into a
like,
paste,
minced
just
garlic
like
as well.
this. For the wet
Oh,
ingredients,
wait,
I
he's
started
doing
with
a
my favorite
chimichurri.
hot sauce, followed by Worcestershire
Oh,
sauce.
yeah, it can be
and a
really
good
hard to get
amount of
sometimes.
olive oil. Mix it well and
Where
your
I am, you
marinade is
can get
done.
lamb,
That, friends, is
and
as
you
good
can
as
get it
gets.
for a
It is also
decent
quite
price,
strong.
but I
So
know
just
there's a
as
lot of
much is
places where
plenty
lamb is
for a full
fucking
rack
difficult
of
to get.
lamb. Talking about that, this is the star of this cook. As you can see, mine came already Frenched. Usually they come just like this, ready for you to go. Here in the US,
Yeah,
there
where
are
I
two
am on the
kinds you
West
can
Coast,
buy,
it's
either
pretty easy to get
imported
lamb.
or domestic. And
I
these
can
are
find it
domestic.
at a couple
For the cast iron skillet, the
places
best
I know.
preparation is to take them apart. Just flip them on the fat cap and start chopping them between the bones. It is not a big deal. As you can see, by the time I
No,
was
it's
done, I was
not.
left with
That
beautiful
looks
lamb
so
chops.
fucking-
Now all there's left to do is to apply our marinade. The most important thing is to make sure every single one of them is coated. You can either do this by applying them individually one by one, or throw them in the vacuum bag to make sure every single one is coated.
yeah,
Now,
vacuum
the cool
sealing
thing about it is that if you have a vacuum sealer
is
or
the
a
best way to
vacuum chamber,
marinate.
you'll make
Unfortunately,
this
I don't
process
have a
real
KitchenAid
quick.
or
Once it's completely
this
vacuum
expensive
sealed,
ass
you want to
thing.
leave it marinating on your refrigerator
If
for
I
at
ever
least
got
2
a sous
hours.
vide
But if you don't use a
cooker,
vacuum sealer, you can leave them
I would
overnight.
totally
Once the
buy
marination
a
time was
vacuum
done, all
bag
there's left
for
to do is to
marinating
remove them and
and
get them
for,
ready
like,
for the
sous vide
cast
cooking.
iron. And as you can see, every single piece has a little bit of that marinade.
Yeah,
Set your cast
dude.
iron to medium-high heat and add the lamb chops. Let it sear for about 1 minute and then it's time to flip. Keep in mind that they cook real quick. And the last thing you wanna
they do.
is to
It's such a
overcook
thin
lamb
cut of
chops.
meat
You're
as
shooting
well.
for an internal temperature of 135 degrees Fahrenheit. And once that temperature was reached,
But
this
it's,
is what I was
like,
left with.
super
Perfectly
flavorful.
cooked lamb chops.
Yeah.
And that
He's
cast
cooking
iron
everything
sear
on a
is
cast
exactly
iron,
what
so
you're looking
everything's
for.
gonna
I
have a
think
pretty
this might
beautiful
be the
crust on it.
best way to cook lamb. It not only puts a beautiful crust on them, but cooks them
Because
to
cast iron,
perfection.
unlike a steel
That
pan,
is how you want your lamb
gets
to be.
like
Pink in the
hot
middle is
differently.
always the way
It
to
like
go, because you don't
retains
need
heat
any
super
fork for
well, so
this.
that
It is
sear
best to
is
use your
amazing.
hands. And we all know what
Yeah,
Gordon
I know you
Ramsay
can do
is thinking.
Ziploc bag
Where's
in the
lamb
straw,
sauce?
but
using the same exact
something
pan, I
different
throw
about
in
a
2 cups
KitchenAid.
of chicken stock. You want to cook it and let it reduce to half. Once that's done, throw in half a cup of heavy cream.
I
Mix
would
it well.
say try and keep with the original protein. Like when he was doing the pork sauce, I was saying use pork broth. But the thing is, getting lamb stock would probably be very fucking difficult, if not impossible, in the United States. I don't know anywhere that would have it. So chicken stock would be a good substitute for a light stock.
And make sure you combine all of the ingredients together. Get 2
Yeah, you'd have
tablespoons
to
of
make it
cold
yourself.
butter and incorporate that into the sauce.
Which means you'd have to
Once
get
that's done, you are
something
left with a
rarer, which is a
perfect
lamb
sauce
carcass,
that is
or like
easily
lamb
made.
bones.
But most importantly, make Gordon Ramsay happy. Because as you already know, if you don't give him the lamb sauce, no good. And trying it with the lamb sauce? Okay. Yes,
Yep,
Gordon
we got the
Ramsay,
lamb sauce, chat.
does make it better. But I'm telling you
Yeah, you
right
definitely
now,
have to
if you
make
don't
it
want to make
yourself.
the sauce, it's good enough. But if you have the time,
Of
make
course.
it, because you will not
I would say if you make like soups or use stock often, make your own. Freeze it. Make your own and freeze it. The lamb sauce has been spotted.
regret it. Now jumping on to the
Because-
next one, we're going to make an
yes.
amazing and incredible chicken breast. And this one is going to be real good.
Yeah, chicken
And of
breast in a
course, we'll
cast
start off
iron
with
is
4 of them.
amazing.
These are organic chicken breasts. And if you have a
So
choice to
they're
buy
smaller.
organic, definitely
And
do.
probably more
It just
flavorful.
tastes better. To season them, I threw in salt, followed by freshly ground black pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder. Just like every single meat,
chicken
make
doesn't
sure you
need
season
really
all
intense
sides,
or,
including the
like,
edges. To ensure that we cook them evenly, I like
really
to
intense
use a
seasoning.
meat mallet. mallet. And to make sure we don't splatter anything all over the place, it is always best to start with some clinch plastic. Using the meat mallet, hammer them down as much as
Chimkin,
possible.
hi Lucy.
You want them nice and flat
How
to
you
make
doing?
sure every single one of them has the same thickness. And I definitely recommend starting the seasoning before
Yeah,
this
chicken breast is
process.
really
This
simple,
allows you to
but it's
press
a
the seasoning
really
down
easy
into the
protein to do.
meat. Now to help achieve
And to make
that
taste
golden
good.
brown crust that we are always looking for on chicken breast, I like to use a little bit of all-purpose flour. Keep in mind that we're not making fried chicken here. We just want a nice dry surface, but at the same time adding a nice
I would say
crust
you
on
can
the
also achieve this effect by patting down the chicken, but flour does work as well.
So talking about that, now that I have it ready, it's time to cook.
It's
I
not
set
my
cast
usual
iron
preferred
skillet
method.
to medium-high heat. Threw in my oil and started to sear. One
Yes,
important
we
thing
are
to remember is
watching
to have enough oil
Guga
onto the
cooking
pan.
every
Because of
like
the
type
fire,
of
I
meat in a
recommend not
cast
touching
iron
this
skillet.
one for at least 1 minute. Because once that minute is up, I do my
You
first
missed
turn
the
and check
like
that
prime
out.
rib that
Nice
made
golden
me in
brown
chat
crust,
just get a
exactly
little
what
excited.
we're looking for. I like to cook my chicken breast
Flour
until
works
I reach
better,
an
not gonna lie.
internal temperature of
Probably it does. I just
160,
usually pat
because
it
as
down
you
with a
rest,
paper
it will
towel.
climb up to 165, which is exactly what the FDA recommends. And as you can see, I was left with perfectly cooked chicken.
Yeah.
Now using the
Also,
same
the
cast
reason
iron
he
skillet,
pounded
I
the
threw in
chicken
white
is because
mushrooms.
chicken
Kept
breast is
removing
really
till I
uneven,
deglaze the entire
and cooking
pan.
it in
To
a
help
cast
extract
iron
even more
is
moisture, I threw in
a little
bit of
excited is an
salt. Mix it well
understatement.
and cook those
Yeah,
mushrooms
a
until
bit
they
of
were
an
fully
understatement.
cooked. And you can tell when they look just like this. Then I threw in a little bit of onions, followed by garlic paste, and mixed
Oh,
it well.
did you see the chop on those onions?
Like
Hold
this.
on, I just
Then
want
threw in a
to
little bit
give
of
props to this man. That is an impressive ass dice. Look at that. Look at the dice job he did on those onions, on like that
followed by
shallot or
garlic
onion.
paste, and mixed it well. Once everything has been combined, throw in a little bit of chicken stock, followed by heavy cream. Mix everything well and combine
Yeah, this
both
is
of
your
those
classic
ingredients
pan
together.
sauce.
To finish it off, all there's left to do is to emulsify a little bit of cold butter, add in your chicken, throw in some parsley for coloring and flavor, and the absolute best
I was about
way
to
to
say
have
that
chicken
looked more
breast
like
is
shallots to
done.
me. Yeah,
This, my friends,
I
is
thought
as
that too.
good as it gets. Making
No,
chicken
that
breast
he did
like
a
this is not
fine
only
dice
easy,
on
but
that
it's
like
also
shallot or
something
onion.
you can look forward to. And I'll tell you one thing, once you make it
Oh.
once, I'm pretty sure you're gonna make it several times over. Because if there's
Yo,
one thing
that's
cast iron is always
perfect.
good for, is to cook beautiful chicken just like this. And let me not even begin to tell you how good that sauce is.
Oh,
Combining these
hell
both
yeah.
things together is
Dude, caramelized
absolutely
onions
phenomenal.
in pretty much
And I definitely
anything
recommend you
automatically
giving this
makes it
one a go.
better.
Now let's talk about the butcher's secret steak, because it's
Hanger?
also known as hanger steak. And if you
Yes!
enjoy big flavors, this one is the steak
Oh,
for you.
Hanger steak, I will say, is not like a steak you will find at your local restaurant. This is a pretty cheap cut, but it has intense beef flavor to it. So this will probably be hard to find / like cheap, because most people don't really mess with this or just add it to stew meat. They have this all over Puerto Rico. It's not really popular in the US. But I've had hanger steak before, and it's so intensely beefy. It is so good. If you have
And as
like
you
a
can see,
legit
the marbling
butcher
of
shop,
this one is absolutely
I'd get
out of this
hanger
world.
steak.
That is exactly what you're looking for whenever you're purchasing any kind of steaks. To cook this one,
I
it's
wish I
pretty
could do the drum
straightforward.
line, but
We're
that would
gonna keep it
probably
as
get me
basic as
banned.
possible. So I season it with salt,
Oh,
freshly ground
shit.
black pepper, and garlic powder. As you already know, it is important
This
to
is
season
me
both
like
sides,
shrimping
including
over
the
meat
edges.
because
Now, this might be one of the
I
best
am a
methods to cook
carnivore.
steak in
I
a
love
cast
my
iron
meat.
skillet, and that is to do the butter basting method. And for this
Yes.
one, I'm going to be using thyme, butter, and
Yes,
garlic.
yes,
So I
yes.
started up my gas stove and set it to high heat.
This is the
Threw in
simplest
a
butter
little bit of
base, but
grapeseed
it's
oil
going to
and
be
started to
absolutely
sear.
delicious.
This steak is nice and thin, so you really want high heat. And another thing I recommend is to keep it moving. That way we ensure that you cook the
Yes.
steak evenly.
I think
Just like
Chad is-
previously, you want to keep flipping that steak as much as possible. The last thing you want to do is
I'm
to
gonna allow
overcook a
that.
hanger steak, because it will not be good. Once you've reached the sear that you're happy with, it's time to lower the heat. Throw in the garlic, butter, and thyme. And here's a great tip. If you did not throw enough butter on the pan to baste
Oh,
it
wait a
with
minute. What
spoon,
time is
the
that? Wait,
easiest and
hold
the
on,
best
hold
way
on.
to do is just
Is chat, this might be just my inexperience with food. Is there different types of thyme? Because the thyme I'm familiar with is like the twigs you find at your grocery store, where you like pull the stem and all the like almost needle-like leaves. I know it It just looks different than the time I remember.
To move the steak around. That way we ensure that every single edge of that steak is
This might just be me misremembering my
herbs. All you're really
herbs.
trying to do is to infuse that butter flavor onto the steak, and at the same time keeping.
Let me go back then, Lily.
And to
Lily.
baste it with.
Yeah, it looked like that, which doesn't look like the time I remember using. Because the leaves look like further spaced apart. Now that's normal time. Okay, I'm off then. I liquid for 2 seconds. Why is my steak strip around like sausage? Because this is a hanger steak. This is basically like a steak that in America is usually just cut into stew meat because nobody fucking orders it. So it's a small medallion of meat that they usually sell for pretty cheap.
The spoon. The easiest and the best way to do is just to move
so
the
it
steak
is very
around.
thin
That
and
way we
very
ensure that
round,
every single edge
but
of
it's
that steak is perfectly
beefy.
basted. Because all you're really trying to do is to infuse that butter flavor onto the
Oh,
steak.
wait,
And at
chat.
the same time.
Okay, I know where I fucked up. I forgot my herbs. So usually when I do basting with butter on a steak, I usually combine thyme and rosemary. So my ass thought that thyme was rosemary. So I was imagining it like looking. I will agree with you. Hanger is better than Storyline in my opinion. Yeah, I just fucking mistake my herbs. It's been a while since I've done a butter based and not like a compound.
I'm keeping the eye on the temperature.
And usually with
because you are
compound, I
shooting
add
for
rosemary.
An internal temperature of 135 degrees Fahrenheit.
To get that
And once
really
that's
unique
reached,
flavor
your
that
hanger
it
steak
has.
is ready. The cast iron skillet definitely did its job. And as I took my slice, oof, that is juicy.
Oh.
Eating it just like this, nice, juicy, and tender is definitely the way to go. Because this is a very flavorful steak.
Yeah,
and
this is
overcooking something
beefy.
like this would
This
totally
is
be a
very
crime.
beefy
And if
flavor.
you've never tried a hanger steak, definitely give it a go. It might become one of your favorite steaks to eat.
I love how he didn't even bother to rest it because he's like, this shit's gonna be tasty
Moving on to the
regardless.
next one, I know what you're thinking. Guga, you're
It's
cooking
time
chicken
for the
again?
VTuber
No,
favorite,
my friend. This
thighs.
is not chicken. I know it looks like one, but I can guarantee you it's not. Because we're talking about this one right here.
Wait, no, that's not chicken thighs. That's
I'm gonna
rabbit.
ask you to go down on the comment section
That's
and let me
rabbit.
know what this is. Because if you do, I'll tell you right now.
I would
you're
recommend
good.
trying it
You
at
gotta
least
have
once.
an open mind for
It
this
is
one,
very
because this
beefy
is one
flavor.
of those meats that we say don't knock it until you try it. And if you've never had
Yeah,
it,
it's rabbit.
real good. And it's super easy to make. And as I open the whole
I've
thing
never
up,
had
hopefully
rabbit,
by now
but
you know exactly
I bet
what
this
it
is gonna look
We're
delicious.
talking about a rabbit. Now you can cook it whole, and I've done that before.
No,
and if you have not
not
seen that
Pecora.
video, make sure you check it out on the card above. But for the cast iron skillet, we're gonna take it apart, and it's pretty easy to do. I started by removing the thighs.
Okay,
and there should be
why
no force.
is this,
Just
like,
go nice and slow and
cutting
make sure you
process
cut between the bones.
way too
Once
close
both
to
legs
cutting
were
chicken
removed, I
thighs?
jumped into the arms, and that is the same exact process. Just let your knife do the work and go nice and
Rabbit
slow.
is really
Once
tasty,
both
but
were
it's got
taken
such
out,
low fat
flip it on its
content that it's
back
pretty
and
finicky.
start working on the
Okay, so
tenderloins.
kind of
It
like
is
chicken
pretty
breast
easy to
where you
do. just
basically
gotta
have
run your
to,
knife through the backbone. It is similar
cook
to
it in a
filleting
certain way
fish.
so that
Nice and slow and
because
precise
since it
cuts
has
with
no
the knife
fat,
will
it's
make
not
the
gonna
job
get,
easy.
like,
because as you already know,
extremely
a rabbit is
juicy.
not that large. But once I was done with all of the butchering, this is what I was left with. We got
Now,
the
can you do it
thighs,
blindfolded
the
like
arms,
Ramsey did
and
with the
everyone's
chicken?
favorite, the tenderloin. But now that our butchering is completely done, all there's left to do is
That
to
is the most
apply our
impressive thing I've
marinade.
ever seen.
And this marinade is fantastic. And here's how to make it. Into the food processor, I threw in some garlic and chopped it all up. And here's one of my favorite things to use that I get asked all the time. These are red onions. However, they are
What?
freeze-dried onions. And I'll tell you
Okay. I was wondering how he got his dice so fine. So these are like freeze-dried red onions, is what he was saying.
one thing, if you've never had
Okay, that makes
freeze-dried
so
onions,
much more
man,
sense.
You should, because they are absolutely phenomenal. The same
So-
goes for part.
Basically, if you've ever had, I think it's called like astronaut ice cream. It's basically they suck all the moisture out of it. And then it
this
gets
one is
rehydrated
also
with the other
freeze-dried.
ingredients.
So after throwing both of them in, I added a little
So
bit
it'll
of chili
basically, like,
flakes. When I
powderize
say a
this
little,
onion
I mean a lot.
in
Because
this,
we
like,
want
food
our rabbit to
processor.
have a nice flavor. Then
How
to
many
finish
chili
it off
flakes
the
are you adding?
marinade, I'd added olive oil, turn on the food processor and let it run. To finish it all up, add a
I
little
joke,
bit of lemon
but that's
juice,
probably gonna be
followed
super
by
flavorful.
salt, turn on your food processor, mix everything well, and your marinade is done. Even if you
That
don't
is
use
a
this
bomb-looking
marinade for a
marinade, though.
rabbit, at least use it for chicken, because this one is a winner. And just like the lamb chop, if you want the marinade to penetrate penetrate deeply into the meat, I definitely recommend vacuum sealing it. This cuts the marination time to half. And always remember to let
Also,
it
he
marinate
has
in
the,
your
like,
refrigerator.
fancy,
Talking about that, I let it
vacuum
marinate for
sealer.
a total of 12 hours.
The one I remember having from back when we actually had one was one of the early, like, food saver ones, where it would basically just sit on your kitchen counter, and then when you actually had to use a vacuum feature, it sounded like it was trying to, like, die. It was just like... Like, he has the expensive one.
And as you can see, it is ready
That's
to
probably
be
like a $200 food saver or whatever.
Very similar to chicken. Keep it under medium-high heat and flip it every minute or so.
Sheesh, but you transcend to a higher plane of understanding.
I recommend to keep flipping it until you reach an internal temperature of 160 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay, I think I've been converted to the religion of rabbit. That looks amazing.
Was done, it just looked perfect. And if you've never had rabbit, you should. I mean, check this out as I take my first slice. It is very similar to chicken, but it's not chicken. And I'll tell you one thing, if you never had it, definitely give it a try. Because some of my family members like rabbits way more than chicken. I just don't tell them what it is. Because as far as they know, they just think it's chicken. So we'll keep that just between you and me.
That is all the meat I currently have in my house. I cooked everything, everybody.
Where the fuck
anyway,
is the
guys, I hope you
Wagyu?
enjoyed this video. If you do enjoy it, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, be sure.
Okay, I saw bone marrow. We're watching this one. We're watching. I did sheesh, but it's the Halo theme. Yes, we need more meat.
As you can see, this series is all about cooking wonderful and juicy meats just like this.
Okay,
And
that
to
deep
continue
fryer
our
episode
series
pained
today,
me,
I'm going to be
except
using
for
the
like
cheapest-
one cut. I will say one cut that looks amazing deep fried, pork belly, because it has the crispiest skin I have ever seen in my life.
grill I can find to cook some amazing
But
foods
no, we're
with
doing
it. Some of them
cheapest
turned out
grill, so this is
fantastic.
all grilled.
Others, not so much. But in the end, it's all about how it's going to taste.
Yeah.
This is I
Bone
cooked
marrow,
every meat with the
bone
cheapest grill I
marrow.
can find. So
Let's
let's do it.
go.
So my search began by going to Amazon.com. Then I typed up charcoal grill cheap ! $109.
Oh wow, he didn't log in
even though
because
that's a good
usually.
deal, but no.
Okay. Quick streamer thing. Amazon fucking terrifies me because Amazon gives away your location. Amazon will say, "Hi, your name. You're shopping at this like zip code." Amazon very bad. And as you see, he didn't sign in just so that wouldn't happen. I missed the one piece back where I used to live, where I got the tastiest per million
Real
rice.
cheap !
That probably would have been pretty damn good.
$109, even though that's a good deal, but no, $54.
The one like barbecue
that's
kind of
not
place
bad.
I have
So
near
after
me is
searching for a while
Mongolian.
with many different prices, I was able to find this one.
Okay, so iSumer portable charcoal grill with lid, folding tabletop barbecue grill for outdoor cooking, camping, picnic, patio, backyard cooking. This is a Wish.com item. I can tell by the fucking title. Because this is what they do. Good pernil is straight up addicting. I'll need to look up what that is because I don't think I'm intimately familiar with the dish. What they'll do is they'll try to hit as many keywords as they can so that they show up in the Amazon or Wish algorithm. It's pork Sally. I will look it up in a bit. Large cooking area. Primary cooking area, 180 square inches, 16.7 by 10.8 wide. So this is like a grill you would bring out to, say, a campsite that doesn't have a grill. So you could do it on like the picnic table they give you. Puerto Rican pulled pork, depending on where you live. Ooh. Okay, yeah, I need to try that. That sounds fucking incredible. From the small amount of Puerto Rican food I've been able to find here on the West Coast, because it's usually an East Coast kind of deal. From the small amount I've been able to find on the West Coast, like, Puerto Rican food is bomb. Okay, so you know what? No, like, obvious misspellings that says this is going to be like a scam product. Lopa Veja. No, I have not had that.
It costs $34.99.
It do hit
Looks
different
like I'll be able to control
from the limited
airflow,
amount
so
I've
that means
had.
that I can control the temperature. So I went ahead and bought it.
It's hard to get on the West Coast,
After
honestly.
putting it together, this is what it looks like. I mean, it's nothing fancy. What did you expect? But I can't control the air vents. As I take the lid off, you can see there.
Oh yeah, he really can't control the air vents. It's either all open or all closed.
It's nothing fancy. What did you expect? But I can't control the air vents. As I take
Oh wait,
the
he
lid
can
off,
control
you
it a
can see
bit.
there are two grates. One is to hold the charcoal and the other one for the food.
Okay, you know
can
what?
tell that the air vents are going to
For
get hot.
a cheap
So my
grill,
finger
I
is
would
gonna
bring
go
on like
nowhere near
a
that.
camping
Same
trip or
goes with
two.
the bottom air vent. This thing will get
You know
hot.
what? This
So I
is a
better
pretty
use some
fucking
tongs.
good
And
grill
the
for
overall
30
quality
bucks.
of this thing is terrible. Look at this. It's all banged up. It has some holes for no reason. And the handle is made out of plastic. Come on.
Oh no, wait, hold on. That's a terrible idea. Plastic and anything on a grill is probably a terrible idea. Because that shit's gonna melt.
Look at how thin the metal is. I'm talking about thin. Even the tip of my pen is
Oh
thicker
yeah,
than
that has to be like, that's not even 1/4 inch steel. That's probably like 1/8 or 1/16 inch steel.
I'm going to be using the best charcoal I have, and I think this thing is just going to melt. But there's only one way to find out, and that's to put it to its test. I'll be using two methods to cook. One is going to be direct heat, which I use it for grilling. That means a lot of charcoal and a lot of intense heat. The second way will be indirect heat, where the heat is not so much, but I can control the temperature. Now you're probably asking, how in the world are you going to control the temperature with this and know what temperature it is? Well, first I'll be using the air vents, as you already know. And the other one comes with experience. But even though I have experience, I am no magic genie. So from time to time I'll be using my laser thermometer.
Good idea.
That will allow me to take the internal temperature of the cooker. But now that you got familiar with this terrible cheap grill, it's time to get
Because a lot of
cooking.
grills have a thermometer on the front of it, but you can never trust the damn thing. Mainly because it's usually going to be shot by the first couple times using it.
It's going to be a beautiful bone-in ribeye, which will be juicy, tender, and absolutely delicious. And here we have it raw. As you can see, this one is 1.5 inches
the
thick.
king
it also
of
has
steaks.
wonderful marbling,
If you're going
which is exactly
price
what you're
versus
looking for
flavor,
whenever you
ribeye
choose
is your perfect
steaks.
steak.
Now, talking about that marbling, what happens is when you grill a steak like
Because
this,
filet
normally it
is
falls
amazing,
apart.
but it's
To
too
ensure that does
expensive.
not happen, and I'll be dressing it with butcher's twine. That at least will be keeping
And
it
sirloin
together
is
when we're
cheap
doing
as
the
hell,
sear, which is one of the most
but
critical
cannot even
part.
come
To season it,
close in
as
the flavor
always,
department.
With a beautiful piece like this, you don't want to mask the flavor. I just went with salt, freshly ground black pepper, and garlic powder. As always, make sure you season both sides. For additional flavor on this beautiful steak, I'll be using thyme, garlic, and butter. We all know that this combination is...
Yeah, wait, no, that's different from the other time he was using. Yeah, that looks completely different from the other time he was using.
perfect for a wonderful steak like this. But now that our steak is
Hold
ready,
on,
it's
am I
time to
wrong?
get grilling. So I threw in a whole chimney of charcoal in there. And do not forget, every time you get a new grill, you must do the
That's
first
rosemary?
burn
Yeah,
out.
it does
That
look
is
like
because the
rosemary,
factory
but he's
puts some
calling it
chemicals
thyme.
which you must get rid of. So after letting everything burn for a while, and you can tell that the smell is off when it first comes out. I would say
Did he
about
mistake
after
the two?
15 minutes, it was ready. So I first started by melting my butter, thyme, and
Yeah, 'cause that
garlic.
does look like
This is perfect
rosemary.
because I'll be basting my steak with it. Once
But he
that
said it was
done, I
thyme.
threw in my steak. Because I know this charcoal very well, I knew it was
He
going
can
to
call it
get
whatever
a
he
quick
fucking
sear.
wants,
And after
that's
1
fucking
minute and a half, I
rosemary.
did the first flip, and
Okay.
look at that. That's what I'm talking about.
We have found
Right
one
after
mistake
that,
with
I started
Guga.
searing the other side for 2 minutes.
Yes,
Once the
Arca,
time was
we're
up, I
watching the
lifted
good
up,
shit,
and this is
'cause
what I
we
got.
watched
That
some
is
really
looking
bad cooking
wonderful, my
before
friends.
this.
Extremely promising, and I can't wait to find out how it's gonna taste. Of
It's
course,
going to be
finish it up, I
amazing. It's a
started by
ribeye.
basting it. Now you have to remember, since this is butter, once you turn
No,
it,
he
will
changed
flare up.
rosemary
As
into
you can
thyme,
see,
guys.
that's exactly what happened. So you don't want your steak to burn. Make sure you move it
No.
around. But after grilling for a total of 6 minutes, I was left with a beautiful ribeye steak cooked on the cheapest grill ever. And if you can only
Very
smell
juicy.
how wonderful it smells, you will be wanting to
I
take
can
a
only
bite
imagine,
just like
Guga.
I am. But of course, I can't wait to find out the actual results. So I went in for my first slice. And as I did, you can see that that is perfection. Perfectly medium rare, just the way I like
Medium
it.
rare
I
is
think
like
I can
the best
actually
way to
cook
have a
a lot of
steak, in my
things on this
opinion.
grill. That is
So
a
this is
wonderful
just
looking
1,000
steak.
times
But as
better.
always, the most
Oh,
important
Gord,
thing is
thank you
how
so
is it
much for the
gonna taste.
raid.
And as you can
Hi.
see from this piece,
We
I can
are
tell that
watching
it's nice, juicy,
some
and also
Guga
very tender.
Guga
And for
food
today, I was
videos.
lucky enough to have my nephew with me. As you can tell from
He
all
is
of that,
cooking
this grill
every
actually
cut
did
of
its
meat he
job.
has in his
Now that I
fridge
found
in
out that
a,
he actually cooks the
really
steaks,
cheap
let's see what
grill.
else I can cook with it.
Existential
And by the way, if you
crisis
think
raid?
we
Oh
threw the bone
no.
away,
You see this part right here, guys? This is the best part.
Good
This
choice,
part right
Scrub.
here is
Good
the best
choice.
part.
Yeah, we know, and you ate all of it. Didn't even leave me a piece. You know what? I'm gonna eat a little bit of the rest of this.
now a cheap grill deserves a cheap meat. So I am
Oh,
going to be making the
Warhammer.
most
Okay, yeah,
wonderful
that would
meatloaf
cause a
you've
pretty
ever seen.
fucking
And
existential
even though
crisis.
this one is cheap, it is gonna be good. I
Ooh.
started by cooking some
Okay, A lot of people like to clown on meatloaf. Meatloaf, if you do it correctly, like
bacon.
meatloaf
As always,
is bomb.
You want to start in low heat.
If you
this
do
will
it
allow
right.
the bacon fat to render
All right,
slowly
Dax,
without
get some
burning
sleep.
it.
Good
and as
night,
you can
man.
tell, I am using the center cut, which has less
Look
fat.
at all
Once
of
it
that
was fully
shit.
cooked, I removed it from the pan. For
That's
this
not
recipe,
fully
you do not
cooked.
want
That's not fully cooked. I agree. I love watching this guy.
your bacon crispy. Just make sure it's cooked all the way through, just like this. Using the exact
See,
pan,
the thing is, the way I usually cook bacon is I cook bacon until that shit basically turns into a crumble. Like you could crush it in your hand. I like my bacon stupid crispy. That I would call undercooked.
throw in some bacon
Even
fat.
if it's
I'm
fully
using
cooked, it's
purple onion,
undercooked.
but feel free to use any one you like. Start by cooking the onions and make sure you deglaze the
Extra
pan.
crispy
And to
with
do that,
melty
I'm
fat?
using
Hell
Chinese
yeah.
cooking wine, but any white wine will work just fine. Once the onions are fully cooked, throw back in the bacon and mix it well. Make sure you combine all of them together and reserve.
So
The secret
caramelized
is to let them
onions,
completely
bacon,
cool down.
and
Now,
wine.
recommend
I can't
using
see
a
anything
loaf
wrong
pan.
with
It makes
this.
the job a lot easier. Now, if you don't have a silicone pan like mine, you
I think it depends on what I'm doing with the bacon. True. If you're doing like a bacon wrap, it's hard to get that super crispy.
Stick to it. For the meatloaf, it's pretty
But if
easy.
I'm
I
doing
started
like
1
bacon
pound of
on its
ground beef,
own,
which is
I want that
80-20,
shit to
followed by
basically
the
stand
bacon
up on
mix
its
we
own.
just
If
made,
I
1
pick it
cup
up
of
with my
provolone
hand,
cheese,
I don't
2
want
whole
any
eggs,
amount of
2
droopage.
tablespoons of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, and half a teaspoon of black pepper. Now you want to mix it really
Also,
good to
how many
make sure
bowls does he
everything is
have to
combined.
like
Once
go
that's
through
done,
to
your
do all that
meatloaf is
seasoning?
almost ready.
I
Use
get
the
why
pan
he's
loaf,
doing
make
it
sure
for
you
the
pack
show,
everything tightly. Try to avoid
but
as
like
many air gaps as
when I'm in my
possible. But at
kitchen,
the same
I just
time,
do it
with
with
my
my hands. I
experience, you
don't
can almost
like
never
put it
take
in
all of
bowls.
them out, unless you use a vacuum chamber. But that's for a different episode.
This is so
As
different
you
from
can
any
see, by the
meatloaf
time I
I've
was
had,
done,
but
this
it's
is what it
probably
looks
bomb.
like. Now, to make sure you keep its shape while cooking, I like to freeze it.
Yep.
The very next day, as you can see, it's 100% frozen. And
It is
because
a
I used
hockey
the
puck, but
silicone
it is
mat,
a damn
easily
tasty
comes
hockey
out.
puck.
And just like I told you, it is almost impossible to remove all of the air gaps. Now,
Mhm.
since we have bacon inside, let's also put it in the outside. So for that, I like to cover the whole thing with bacon, because we all know bacon makes everything better. To make sure this is not going to fall
Fuck
apart
butter,
on me,
bacon
I
makes
decided to use a
everything
little bit
better.
of parchment paper. This will allow me to put it in and off the grill very easily. Talking about grill, I set it to indirect heat. My goal was for it to reach
Okay, so he
165
wants it to,
degrees
like,
Fahrenheit
bake.
internally. And as far as the cooker goes, I try to keep it at 375
I agree. The only
degrees
bacon
Fahrenheit.
product I
Threw in
hate
my
is like
meatloaf,
candied
covered it
bacon.
up and let it cook.
I know
And
that
after
was
an hour and
like a
half,
big
this
thing
is what
during
I
that
was
whole
left
bacon
with.
craze of the
That is a meatloaf
2010s.
cooked to
I just can't do it.
165 degrees Fahrenheit internally. And as you can see, the bacon is perfectly cooked. But now I'm wondering what the inside is gonna look like. So I went ahead and took in my first slice, and look at that. It looks very good to me.
Oh wait, he
What do
put
you
cheese in
think?
there.
Oof, we got
Yes.
some cheese going out, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. As I continue slicing
Yeah,
them
no,
up, you
I
can
can't
see
do
them
candied
they are
bacon.
as juicy as it gets. That is looking like a very
I don't like it
promising
on things, to be
meatloaf.
honest.
But
I
as
mean,
always, the
something
most
like this or like a pork tenderloin, I get it. Honestly, if that cheese was potato, it might be underdone. Candied bacon can be good. I think the problem is I've only had candied bacon from like candy shops where it's a lot different of a process than if you're doing it in your kitchen. And I can't stand it from candy shops. But yeah, like this is probably going to be amazing bacon wrapped. Like
most
wrapping
important
bacon
thing
on
is always
everything
the
though,
taste. And as you can see
not my
from
deal.
this piece, it looks like everything was cooked perfectly. And
Yes.
my nephew Angel was here for us to try it out together.
That bacon is fire.
That thing is amazing, everybody. This bacon here got some nice, beautiful flavor. Absolutely incredible.
You guys gotta try this one. This one's good.
And cooking it on that little thing actually worked. Can't believe it.
I'm telling you, friends, this is something you definitely gotta
I've never
try.
thought about
And even
grilling
if you
a
don't have
meatloaf.
cheap
I
grill,
only,
just
like,
do it anywhere, because I'm
roast
sure
it.
you will love this one. If there's one thing I love is baby back ribs, and to cook wonderful
I
ribs
want
like
them
this on
baby
that
back,
chip
baby
grill
back,
is
baby
gonna be
back. Give me them
extremely
baby back, baby
challenging.
back,
Because if
baby
there's
back.
one thing I like is fall off the bone
Chilies,
ribs. There is
baby
nothing
back.
better than that. Even though some people consider overcooked, I just think that's the way ribs should always be. And of
No,
course, I
if it
started
falls
with
off
a
the
full
bone,
rack
that's
of
the
baby
best
back
way it's
ribs.
cooked.
And this one is thick. Usually it comes with a membrane in the back and you just gotta pull it out. But as you can see, this one has none. So
Yeah,
that makes my job
I
a
don't
lot
get many
easier.
times
As you
where I
already
can
know, there's
actually
no way
do
that this is
barbecue
gonna
'cause it
fit on
gets a
that
little
grill.
too hot
So
around
here's
here.
how I decided to butcher it. I started by cutting the first piece off. Then I completely removed one bone, skipped another, and went to the edge of the following one right away. And this is what I was left with. As you can see, I'm able to maximize the most amount of meat with
Yeah,
just one
it gets
bone.
to like the
This does
90s
two
during the
things.
summer,
It
so
will
it's
allow
hard
the
to be
ribs
sitting
cook
over a
faster, and it
300-degree
also allows
grill
me
in
to put
90-degree
a lot more
temp.
rub, making it much more flavorful.
So I don't
And
get to
whenever
barbecue
you're
very
cooking ribs and
often,
you don't have a lot of spaces,
but right
this is
around
the
now is the perfect time to
method
do it.
use.
I
And of
basically
course, the
just
rest is
take
just
allergy
bone, nothing
medication.
else. Usually I use a binder of either
And,
mustard or Worcestershire sauce. But today I want
I
to
just
make
want
a
to
little
grill
bit
for
more
God's sake.
flavorful. So I
Same.
threw in yellow mustard, followed by hot sauce, and of course a little bit
I mean,
of
yeah, beer
Worcestershire
does make
sauce.
it
Now mix
easier,
it well,
but
and
I don't.
my
I'm
binding
very
sauce
picky
is
about
ready.
beer.
I'm hoping this makes
I've
an
talked about this in the
additional layer of
past, like
flavor.
with
So to
beer,
season the
I'm
ribs, I
stupid
first started
picky.
by brushing a thin coat. I made sure that every single edge got some coating. Then I seasoned it well with salt and Cougar's rub.
It does
Even though,
not
as
get
I
anywhere
always say,
near that low
You cannot
around
buy
here.
this rub, but you can definitely make them at home. And if you have not seen that video where I show you how to make it, make sure you check it out in the description down below later on. Once I was done, you can see every single one
But
of them
I don't
is
think my ass
perfectly
would be
seasoned.
outside in
And
that
for this
weather.
method, I'm also using the indirect heat. But at the same time, I did wanted some
okay.
wood flavor. And if you've ever smoked anything before, you know moisture is extremely important. So once that half a can of Dr. Pepper was full, I started adding the ribs. To have a nice wood smoky flavor, I throw in some pellets. This should give me a wonderful wood taste, which we all love on ribs.
Pellets usually cause me a bit of strife because it has a lot of binder in it. So I usually prefer to buy chips if I'm doing smoking.
Now there's left to do is to cover it up and control the heat to keep it at 275
Or even if I'm doing
degrees
oven
Fahrenheit
smoking,
for 4
like
hours.
I like chips.
This is the most challenging
because I
thing
know
I've
there's
ever
nothing
done in
else
my
in there.
life. Not only do you gotta
There's
keep
no
an eye on it,
binders,
you have
there's
to have
no
an
other
extreme amount of
chemicals keeping
patience.
those
It is
pellets
also
together.
very difficult to do. But after 4 hours of watching this thing like a hawk, make sure it was at the right temperature and I had a consistent smoke, this is what I was left with.
But
the
that
nice
doesn't
mahogany
bump.
color is a sign that it did get some smoke. But at the same time, this is not perfect. And the edges that were closest to the
No.
fire got a little
Yeah.
burned. But that's totally okay with me. Now,
Well,
even
you
though they have
also
a nice
didn't use a
smoke, they are not
smoker.
fully
You
cooked
basically
yet.
tried
I
to
like it
rig a
nice and
grill as a
tender.
smoker.
So for that, I decided to wrap them up in aluminum foil. Now, you can use any type of liquid for this, but if you've never heard of Dr. Pepper ribs, you don't know what you're missing. So I
Oh,
went ahead
this
and
is
threw
like
in
a
half can,
southern,
wrapped
like,
it up tightly,
classic
and it was
Dr.
ready to
Pepper
go back
ribs.
into the grill. This time, I really didn't care so much about the temperature. I could tell you one thing, it was probably
Yes.
about 300 to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. But since there's a
The
lot of
soda,
liquid
like,
in there,
caramelizes
aka Dr.
onto
Pepper, it should
the,
not exceed 225
ribs and
degrees
gets super
Fahrenheit. As
syrupy,
it was cooking,
and
I
it's
decided to make
super
a nice
good.
barbecue sauce to go along with it. So into a saucepan, I threw in 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, followed by 2
No, it's a
tablespoons
legit
of
thing, and it's
ketchup,
actually
1
really
teaspoon of
tasty.
Dijon mustard, 1 teaspoon of sriracha hot sauce, and finished it up with Dr. Pepper. Now you want to let it simmer until it reduces
Because it's
to
super
less than
sweet and
half.
syrupy, and
once
when it
that's done, you are
reduces
left
down,
with a
it
beautiful
just tastes
barbecue
wonderful.
sauce. By the time I was done, my ribs were ready. So I
Yeah,
started
Coke
by
ribs
opening
are
up the
another thing.
aluminum foil, and as you can see, I was left with
I
some
usually,
beautiful ribs.
if I'm
Yes,
doing
even
like
I
oven
am
ribs,
impressed
I'll
with this
take them
one.
out,
But don't you
base them,
think
put
that
them
this
back
was
in, take
easy?
them
A
out, base
tremendous
them, put
amount
them
of
back in
patience and work
to
went
build
into this
up
one.
those
And if there's
layers
one
of
thing I've
barbecue
learned
sauce.
Whenever I'm making barbecue,
So
is
you get that,
need
like,
to have a lot
bark.
of patience. Make sure you do not throw the juices left on the aluminum foil.
It really
Baste the
is.
ribs
It
as
is
much as you
versatile.
want with it because that has a
Pretty much
wonderful
any
flavor.
of the,
And of course,
like,
we cannot
meaty
forget about that
meats, so not
spicy
like,
Dr. Pepper
I wouldn't do it
barbecue
on
sauce we just made.
chicken.
It has a wonderful
I might
flavor,
do it
but
on
it
turkey.
also packs a punch. To show you
But
that
anything
this
you
was
would
perfectly
barbecue,
cooked, let
like
me show
beef
you
or
something.
pork,
As you can see, it just completely
Dr.
comes off
Pepper
the
is
bone.
probably
That
amazing
is
on it.
phenomenal. And if I jiggle the bone a little bit,
Yeah,
there
it
you
just comes
go,
right the hell
completely
out.
off the
Hell
bone,
yeah.
just the way I like it. But of course, I only make food to share. And here's what my nephew Angel had to say about it.
It's like a sweet with a little bit of spice.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
That is amazing, everybody. Check it out. It falls apart, but
Clean
not so
bone.
much, and still nice, juicy, and tender.
Yes.
That's what you want in a rib.
It still has its
If
bite.
anyone
Oh,
calls
yeah,
that
so
overcooked,
that's
they're
good.
what I
No
call
more.
wrong.
I like it. I gotta share with the rest of the family.
Jumping on to the next one, and it is gonna be veal. By the time we are done with this one, you will know exactly what it tastes like. And
Veal
this
is
flank steak
something
veal.
I
Unlike
usually
beef,
am
the
very
color is a
afraid
lot
to cook
lighter.
with
And
'cause
just
it
like
costs
regular
a
flank
lot of
steak,
money.
It does not have a lot of fat. It is also very thin, so you know you gotta cook this nice, hot, and fast. To season it,
I
the
usually
first thing I
pan
like to
fry
do
it.
is to marinate it. That adds a lot more flavor, and it's perfect for this cut. To make the marinade, I first started with a little bit of
I'm
garlic.
not the biggest
And when I
fan of
say a
veal,
little,
but
I
it's
mean a
mainly
lot.
just 'cause
Then
I don't
squeezed
cook
in
it a
a whole
ton.
juice of a lemon, followed by 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 3 tablespoons of olive oil, half a tablespoon
Also,
of sriracha,
he's just
and
starting a
1 teaspoon
lawnmower.
of salt. Now all there's left to do is to mix it well, and your marinade
Yeah,
is
veal
ready.
has
This one is
veal
nice
is
and
like
flavorful, but it is
young
not
cow, so it
spicy.
has
And now
a
that you saw
odd-
how I made the
odd
marinade,
flavor
make sure
to
you
it
massage
that,
that
like,
flank
steak
steak like there's
doesn't
no
have.
tomorrow. You want to make make sure every single edge is coated. If you happen to a vacuum sealer, use it.
I
Or better
haven't
yet,
had
a
it
vacuum
often.
chamber does the job a lot better. You want to let this marinate for at least
And
2 hours.
I'm not
Or
the kind of
better
person where
yet,
if I see it on a
overnight.
menu, I
The very
have
next
to
day, you
order
want to remove it from the bag and get it ready for seasoning. Because remember, we did not add a lot of salt. So for that, I started with salt, followed by freshly ground black pepper. That will ensure me that every single steak is perfectly
okay, yeah, I can see that. I can see it.
Know these steaks are extremely
because it's a young cow, so it's kind of like
exactly
baby.
They took no time at all. I cooked them for only about 2 minutes per side.
I
also basted them with
don't
butter,
eat it very
because
often.
You already know that butter makes
mine's not for moral reasons. It's mainly flavor reasons. I just
degrees Fahrenheit was reached.
Veal's not my favorite meat.
And this is what veal steaks cooked on a cheap grill looks like. Unlike beef, you do not.
It's surprisingly good in meatballs, weirdly, but it's not good on its own.
And it made it very wet. But at the same time, you should not compromise any flavor. The one thing you never want to do with veal is to overcook it.
You've ever had a good venison
As I took
roast?
my first slice, you can see that it was.
I've never had venison
medium rare in the
roast.
middle. That is exactly how you should
the closest
cook
I've gotten to
veal, because even
venison
though it
is
does look
ground
like
venison.
Chicken, it is not, and the flavor is quite unique to describe.
There's a place
because
called.
take a look at
I'll pause for this. There's a place called Fuddruckers. I have to say it like that because I get tongue-tied and say it wrong sometimes. And basically, they have patties in different meat styles. So they have venison, they have crocodile, they have ostrich, they have bison. So I tried the bison, and it is a chain. So I'm not like doxing myself. There's multiple across the country. I've had the bison, which is basically meat plus. It is so damn good. And then I tried venison, and venison is such a different flavor that I don't frankly know how to describe it. I just know I like it. What's another like meat that I don't think a ton of? Oh, I've also had wild boar. It was wild boar stuffed mushrooms with cheese. And I have to say, I'm not usually a person who's like, yes, the veggie appetizer. This is the thing I'm going to scarf down on. I basically like hounded that. That was my dish at like a family get together where I was like, you may have one, but I'm eating the rest of these. It was so unbelievably good. I can't even describe. It wasn't gamey, but it was like you could tell that it was eating a diet of like wild grasses instead of like processed meat that's eating corn. It was just so different. It was wonderful. You can get a venison roast to taste almost like beef if you know what you're doing. You probably could. Venison, though, just if you cook it correctly, venison just has a wonderful flavor to it. I love it.
It looks like white meat. But hey, as always, the most important thing is the taste. Now,
You ever try it together? You ever had veal?
Never had veal.
All right, first time. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. Well, it's definitely different from a regular.
Yeah, it's very
steak.
different
It has
from
the steak
beef.
flavors, but it doesn't have all of the steak flavors.
No.
Does that make sense? The charcoal flavor shows a little bit more.
I've had veal maybe
You like
twice,
that
and
charcoal,
I
huh?
just
I like the
don't.
charcoal, so I can't.
I don't like veal on its
That's
own.
my nephew. He liked the charcoal. Well, he's going for another one, so I guess you do like it.
Uh-huh.
Huh?
And that, friends, is how you cook veal. If you've never had this one, you have to try. And it is bone.
And this is the thing we got excited about earlier. Bone marrow is the butter of beef. If you've never had roasted bone marrow, it is the best steak or beef product you can probably have.
Marrow.
It is
Yes, I know
basically
it's not
fatty,
meat, but let me tell
wonderful
you
beef
something. I
butter.
gotta put this one on. I cook every meat because, as the saying
Oh,
goes,
I
this
highly-
is the butter of
just
the
like
gods.
this.
Once you had it,
Just
you
like how
always
he's
want
having
more.
it.
And it's so
That is
easy
what
to
I
make.
recommend. Just
This is what it looks
crusty
like
bread
raw.
that's
As you can see, the bone marrow
grilled
has a lot of blood inside.
in
You
bone
can cook
marrow.
it just as is, but at the same time, if you do it this way, you'll be very strong. So I always recommend to extract all of that blood, and it is super simple to do.
There's
and
a ramen
here's
shop
how.
in NM
Start
that
off with
serves
nice
it with
cold
bone marrow,
water
and it's
and
amazing.
throw in
Yes.
a good amount of salt. Make sure it's completely dissolved in the water, and you are ready for your brine. Add your bone
that's
marrows
wonderful.
in there. Make sure it's completely submerged and let it sit in your refrigerator overnight. Because the very next day, this is what it looks like. As you can
Yeah,
see,
it
they
is
are as clean
buttery,
as it
it
gets.
is
I would say the brine
fatty,
removed
it
quite
is
a bit, but
wonderful.
not all of it. I only let let it brine for 24
I
hours.
love it with
If
like
you leave it for longer, you
crusty
can
grilled
extract
bread.
even more.
You
But
can
hey,
even
24
grill it
hours is
in
good
the
enough
fat
for me.
left
Since
by the
they were
bone
in a
marrow for
salty
extra
solution,
flavor.
There's no need to add any salt. So I started with a little bit of freshly ground black pepper, followed by garlic powder. That is all the seasoning you need to make the butter of the gods. To cook them, you kind of want to roast them at 400 degrees
Oh my
Fahrenheit.
God.
That will cook them nice and fast, but at the same time, you don't want them
Also,
to be
bone marrow is the
completely
thing that makes like
liquefied. As it was
bone-in
cooking, I
pork
decided to
chops or
make a simple
bone-in like
chimichurri
ribeyes
sauce.
taste better.
So into the food processor,
Is
I
because
threw
the
in a little
flavors
bit
from
of
the bone
basil,
marrow
followed
cook
by a little bit
out of the
cilantro,
bone
parsley,
and get
garlic.
imbued
Blend
into the
everything on
steak.
high and make sure everything is chopped up. Then throw in some shallots, followed by dry oregano, salt, freshly ground black pepper, tiny bit of cherry vinegar, and a good quality olive oil.
Yes,
Blend
yes,
everything
this is
well,
a
and your
wonderful,
chimichurri
like,
is almost
chimichurri.
ready. To finish it all up, I like to add a little bit of acidity with a lemon, mix it all well together, and your chimichurri sauce is done. That, friends, it's a wonderful sauce to go along with the bone marrow. Because the butter of the gods is so rich, this goes perfect with it. Talking
Yeah,
about that, by
it's
this time,
look
my
like
bone
just-
marrows were ready. And that is exactly what you're looking for.
Look at that.
Roasted
That's
to
a thing of
perfection. And at the same
beauty.
time, it held its shape. The one thing you want to avoid is to have your grill so hot that it completely melts.
Melts it, yeah,
Because
no.
I'm telling you, once you give this one a try, the last thing you want is to waste it. To eat it, I just recommend putting it on a piece of toast just like this. And as
I
you
know
can
it
see,
just looks like you're adding a hunk of fat to like crusty bread. I can tell you, it's way more complex than that
use
and
it
way
just
more
like butter.
different and
It
flavorful.
is like neat butter because as I went in for my first bite, it is amazing, phenomenal. I cannot find enough words to describe how good this actually is. You will definitely thank me later. I just wish my
It
nephew
is
Angel
just
was with
absolutely
me today
tasty.
because last time we had bone marrow
I know,
together,
it
we had
is.
a good old time. One thing you have to do if it's your first time trying it, you have to drink from it. That will create an incredible
Oh yeah. One of my relatives made like bone marrow at a barbecue and I was trying it, and I had just recently turned like 21, I believe, and he did this exact same
memory
thing
that
where I
you
had
will
to drink
never
out of the
forget.
bone marrow. It is so different and weird.
There you go, my brother. How is it?
Tastes like bourbon.
Yeah, you don't get any of the fat, you just get bourbon.
Your first bone marrow shot.
So as far as cooking a bone marrow on a cheap grill, this one was 100% success. To really put the
Fat
cheap
is
grill to
flavor.
the test, I'm going to be cooking a whole chicken. Yes,
A
one
whole
full chicken to
spatchcock
see how
chicken.
it cooks. But I'm not cooking
On that
a regular
tiny-ass
chicken
grill.
you find on the supermarket. Check this one out. It is a special chicken.
What?
I don't know how to pronounce it, but I can tell you one thing. It does
Poulet rouge fermier. French red farm chicken with neck and liver. So yeah, it's a poulet rouge fermier.
not have any feathers on its neck, and it was also air chilled, which to me is one of the most wonderful things you can do for poultry. And as I open up the packaging,
Yeah,
this
air
is what it
chilled
looks
means
like.
the skin's
it's
tighter
not large
usually.
by any means. I would say it's the same size as of a young
Yeah,
chicken.
yeah,
To
it's
ensure that it's going to fit and cook properly, I
expensive
decided to
chicken.
spatchcock it.
If
That is
it's
super
more
easy
than
to
just
do.
the
You just gotta
standard
get a
chicken
kitchen sear and
that
glue the
you
towel
get
on
in
the
your
back.
local
Start by
supermarket, the
cutting
like
one side and then the
American
other. As you
hen.
can see, you can completely remove the backbone. Now there's left to do is to open it up, cut the fatty part of
I
you know
know,
what,
it-
and you have a perfectly
The thing is, there's so many terms for things where it's like, why did you have to call it this? You know it has something to do with another word. There's spatchcocking. There's the thing you hit in badminton, the shuttlecock. There's, you know, a fruit that is really delicious, the kumquat. Like, come on, guys.
spatchcock chicken.
It was a
Do not
term
be
back then.
intimidated. This is as easy as it gets.
For
So I
exactly
started
what
by
you're thinking
separating
of.
the skin from the meat. Make sure you get in
Yes,
there and
this is how
separate
you
as
get
much as
crispy-ass
possible.
skin.
Then you want to season everything well with salt. To do this with poultry is perfect because it will not only flavor
Yes, I do agree with you, Lilith, but at the same time, there's something so different about getting that, like, supermarket look than just a flat turkey. There's something so different. But the thing is, the way we traditionally cook turkeys is actually a very inefficient way of cooking turkeys because the breast cooks and dries out before the thighs are done. Or no, it's the opposite way around. The thighs dry out and are overcooked by the time the breast is done. It may be Tuesday, but it's flat fuck turkey day. No, flat turkey cooks more evenly and more cleanly and better. And the wings
It
don't
will also
burn.
dry up the skin to make it very crispy. Now all there's left to do is to put
Welcome
it on
back,
a cooling
Remy.
rack and set it on my refrigerator
We're
overnight.
talking
And the
that
very next day, once I pull
spatchcocking
it
a
out of the
turkey is probably the
refrigerator,
best way
this
of
is what
making
looks
it.
like. As you can see, the skin is much drier, and the dry
Yes.
brine did its job.
Yes,
Make
yes,
sure you
yes,
leave it on your
yes,
refrigerator
yes.
uncovered. Now, of course, all there's left to do is to season it with your favorite rub. I'm using Guga's rub, as you already know. Make sure you
I
season
will
it
say,
well. And as you already
drying
know,
out the
Guga's rub
skin
does
on a
not have lot
chicken
of
is
salt,
going
so
to
it is
make
perfect for dry
KFC
brine. Because some of the rubs that
even
you
if you
buy,
do
they
it for
just have way
fried
too much
chicken,
salt and
because that's
not
going to
enough
be
seasoning.
crispy
So
ass
that is
chicken
why I always
skin.
use Guga's rub.
Which,
Now, all
if you
there's left
get
to
it
do is to
dry
get our
enough,
cooker
will
ready.
basically
And for this
crisp
one, I'm
up like a
cooking it in
chicharrones.
indirect heat, but at the same time nice and hot. I'm shooting my cooker
I agree.
to cook at indirect heat at
KFC is shameful.
425 degrees Fahrenheit. That will cook it nice and fast, and at the same
All right,
time
get
make
some
the
sleep,
meat
Remy.
nice and juicy and the skin crispy. I let it
KFC
cook
is already
until it
shameful.
reaches an
Yeah,
internal
yeah.
temperature of 165
Honestly,
degrees Fahrenheit
I will
on the
say
breast. And
around
once
me,
that did happen, this
KFC is
what
not
I
a place I
got.
will go
That
to
is
for
a
good
perfectly
chicken.
cooked chicken on the cheapest grill you've ever seen in your
Because
life.
you're the
Not only
chicharrón.
does it look good, it smells good. At the same time, it is one of the
One of
easiest
the
things
best,
to cook. But as always, you
like
already know
chicken
the
joints
most
around
important
me
thing
is
always the
a
taste. So I started by removing
Korean
both legs.
joint.
And lastly, but not
It's
least,
Korean
the
fried
breast.
chicken.
Talking about that, you can see
Which
that
I
it's
will
nice
say,
and juicy, and it's still
like
extremely
any
hot. So today, my
Asian
nephew Andrew
chicken
was here
wing
with me,
is
and we
going
could
to be
not wait
better than
any
your
longer.
Buffalo Wild Wings.
that is
100% of the time.
The flavor is like
Whether
more
it's
intense than
Vietnamese,
regular
whether it's
chicken. Wanna go
Chinese,
again?
whether it's
Wow, you're
Japanese,
gonna go
whether
again for
it's
the chicken?
Korean, it's going to be better. But
That's
the
really
best,
good.
That is a good
Hands
chicken,
down to me.
everybody.
Cooking a chicken on a cheap grill definitely
Korean
worked.
fried chicken
And that is all I have
is
to say
bomb.
about that. Now let's talk about seafood, specifically salmon, one of my favorite fishes to eat. I started
Yeah,
with 2
chicharrones
small
are
pieces.
amazing.
The first thing I did is to put some rub on them. To make the rub is pretty simple. I got 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, followed by 1 teaspoon of lemon pepper, half a teaspoon of smoked paprika, and to finish it off, 1 teaspoon of salt. Mix it well when your rub is ready. As you can already tell, this one is going to be kind of sweet. And
That's
think
why I
it's the
say,
perfect
like,
combination
frying,
for salmon.
pork belly
As always, whenever you are
with
applying the
skin
rub,
on
make
it
sure you put
is
it
the
in
best
all
thing, 'cause it's
sides,
basically
including the
pork
edges.
belly and
to make sure the
chicharrones.
fish will not stick to the grate, I used a little bit of parchment paper. To make it easy to transport it into the grill and out of the grill, I'm using a cooling.
You can either use parchment paper, or if you're feeling like exceptionally fancy, you could just use a cedar plank and it gets the same effect. But at the same time, it also like grills the cedar a bit, so it adds it to the
I set the grill
salmon
to
flavor
indirect
wise.
heat, but at the same time, I wanted some smoky flavor.
But
so
getting
I threw in a little
actual,
bit of
like,
wood pellets. Added both
cedar
of my salmon
planks
fillet in there and let it cook.
is a bit of a
As that was
difficult
happening, I
task.
decided to make a simple garlic glaze to go along with it. So in a saucepan, I threw in a little bit of balsamic vinegar, followed by soy sauce, ketchup mayonnaise, which is a sweet soy sauce, a little bit of honey, ginger paste.
This is
garlic
not the
paste,
direction I
and
thought
of
he was
course, you're not
going
gonna
for a
make
salmon
glaze
sauce,
without
but you
brown
know what?
sugar.
I will
Mix
accept it.
everything well and let it reduce to half. Definitely keep an eye on this one so that
Okay.
it does not burn. Once the reduction has been achieved, your glaze is ready. This one, friends, is perfect to go along
Soy
with
miso
any
is
type of
also a pretty
seafood,
good combination if
especially
you want a
like
really
it
good
sweet.
salmon
By this time, my
glaze.
salmon was fully cooked, which I was looking for an internal temperature of
That's gonna add
145 degrees
really good
Fahrenheit.
umami
And
flavors
of course, to finish
to
it off,
any
we gotta
salmon.
go in with our glaze, and that is a salmon cooked on the cheapest grill ever. I mean, it does look good, but how
I
does
agree
it
with you.
taste?
Yeah, that's
And
some
as I
serious
took my
sweet and
first
umami
piece,
flavors.
This is what it looks like. Looks good. One thing left to do is to give it a try, and as I did, that's
And if you
nice.
actually, like,
It does have
glaze
a
it,
smoky
like,
flavor.
put
is
it
not
on
the best
the,
salmon I ever had, but it's good.
salmon
The
while
sweetness
it's
of the
cooking
sauce is
and
a
then
perfect
keep layering it.
combination. At the same
Oh,
time, the
baby.
balsamic vinegar brings a nice acidity to it. And if you ask me if this was a success,
Yes.
it was. Definitely give
That
it a
looks
try to
amazing.
the salmon. You will not regret it.
That is all the meat I currently have in my house.
No.
I cooked everything.
Why do these have
everybody.
to
Anyway,
end?
guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do enjoy it, make sure you give it a
Okay,
thumbs
yeah,
up.
we're gonna watch this one because some of these came out amazing, and some of these are borderline offensive. So this is cooking every meat in a deep fryer.
For today's cook, I'm going to show you how I took my deep fryer to a whole new level. I deep fried every single meat, and let me tell you something, some of them just blew my mind, others not so much.
I'm so glad I've eaten
And my
dinner
goal for
already
this
because
video is to
otherwise I'd
show
be
you
starving.
that the deep
I
fryer can be
haven't.
used for so many more things than just french fries. This is I cooked every meat in a deep fryer, so let's do it.
Yeah, this is the pork belly I was talking about. I just want chat to hear that sound one more time. Enjoy the lurk.
Every meat in a
Like,
deep
just-
fryer, so
I'll
let's
shut
do
up.
it.
Oh, come on. That's what I
We're
mean
gonna
when it's
start
like
off with a
chicharrones.
beautiful Wagyu tomahawk steak. This
Very
is an
fancy
Australian
chicharrone.
Wagyu marbling score 9. It is also 2.5 inches.
That's not a marbling score. Okay. Wagyu goes from A to D, 1 to 5. A5 is the
new VIP.
Ah,
I'll add you to the
wait, Cerise. Hold on. Pause. Cerise. What happened to that whole going to sleep thing? Thank you for the subscription. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yep. We are watching a video right now called I Cooked Every Meat in a Deep Fryer. It blew my mind. We are starting with a Wagyu tomahawk. I was just complaining because he did a weird scoring system that isn't actually used for Wagyu.
Thick, and as you can tell, the marbling of the steak is incredible. This
Yeah, that
is
is
one of the
pretty
best
incredible
beefs you
marbling.
can buy. Now, I have deep fried some steaks before, and they did turn out fantastic. However,
Yeah, 'cause you
every
get a really
single
good
one of them
crust.
was thin. I've never actually tried a thick steak. But hey, that's gonna change today
thick
because
steak.
we're gonna be deep frying this beautiful steak. One thing you gotta keep in mind is that Wagyu fat literally melts at room temperature.
Yep.
So whenever you deep fry a thin steak, it's no problem at all. But deep frying a 2 inches thick monster is something else.
Oh,
but hey, we're gonna
wait,
find
I
out
already
right
see
now
how this
it's
is
gonna
going to
turn
go.
out. And as you
Oh,
already know,
no.
the best
Oh,
treatment for
no.
a beautiful steak
Oh,
like
no.
this is to dry brine. And all that is to season it with
Okay. You remember that demonstration where he showed how little heat is required to render the fat? I think this is going to look more like cork than a
salt,
Wagyu.
put it on a cooling rack and set it on my
I
refrigerator
don't think this is
overnight.
going
The
to
very
end
next
well.
day, this is what it looks like. As expected, the deep red color is a
Yes.
sign that the dry brine worked. To really try the beautiful
Dry brine
flavor
is
of this steak,
wonderful.
I'm
I
not gonna
will
be adding
recommend it for
freshly
any
ground
cut
black
of
pepper
steak or
garlic
chicken.
powder. So with that being said, it is time for the deep fryer. I set my oil to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Threw my tomahawk in there and let it cook. Since this is a thick steak, you don't want to cook it too fast,
no.
which also makes me very worried about the fat. Because as you saw me mentioning before, it melts at room
Oh,
temperature.
no.
To make sure it cooks evenly, I kept flipping
This
the
is
steak
not going to
every
end
15
well.
minutes.
Oh,
And
some
to
of
my
the fat is
surprise,
remaining.
It actually took 1 hour to reach an
Oh,
internal
wait,
temperature
nope,
of
I already see it.
135 degrees Fahrenheit. And as I did, I quickly
Yep.
pulled that
Oh, God, no. No. All of that wonderful fat has now rendered into the oil. Which, I mean, you've got a wonderful caramelization on there, but you can see the pockets of fat that are now missing.
off, and this is what
And
I was
that's
left
the
with. I know what you're thinking.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. I agree, Lilith. No. That poor fucking steak. No.
And that is an ugly steak. As you can see, I would say 75% of the fat has been completely melted. And it
You
was right
think?
at this point I was like, oh my
I'd even
goodness,
hazard
what
80.
have I done? Did I just destroy a beautiful Wagyu tomahawk steak? I'll
I
tell you
think you
one thing,
did.
I almost slept myself. But before going any farther, the only way I was going to find out is to slice it open. And once I did, this is what it looks like. The internal temperature was 135 degrees Fahrenheit, but that looks to me way lower. But as I continue slicing,
it looks like that looks like a blue rare.
temperature was 135
Which is a little
degrees
lower than
Fahrenheit,
I would
but that
usually
looks
go
to
with
me way
Wagyu.
lower. But as I continued slicing, I actually figured out what happened. This is a perfect steak for everyone in the family because this is medium
so
rare,
basically
aka
cooked at different
135
temperatures depending
degrees
on the
Fahrenheit.
thickness of the
we
steak.
also have some rare, which is 120 degrees. But most importantly, we have that crust, and that is as crispy as it gets. But the most important thing is always the taste.
poor
And as I
fat
took
is
my first
gone.
piece, check it out. I can't wait any
It's so overcooked around the edges. Look at how brown and how thick that brown ring is.
longer, and it's time to give it a
Oh,
try.
no.
And as I did, whoa, this is phenomenal.
What?
It is a wonderful steak.
Ow.
Oh my. I'm telling you right now, it is so crunchy, juicy. Yes, you can tell it's a Wagyu steak. Even though there's no salt and pepper, it is fantastic. I want to give it a try to the rare steak and see how that tastes. And as I did, oh my god, forget about it. This thing is amazing. Even a rare steak like this, it has a wonderful taste. To sum
All
this
right,
up, deep frying a
I think
Wagyu
after
tomahawk
this
steak
video,
might not
I'm
be the
gonna do
healthiest
the,
thing, but let me tell you something, it's a big
second
thumbs up
part
for
of this
me.
stream,
Moving on
so
to the
that
next
will
one, it
definitely
is
get you to
gonna be
sleep.
lobster tail. For this
Okay, I would never be
I'll
as
be using
bold to get a fucking lobster tail like that. Okay, that's fine, Cerise. If you do get some sleep before we hit the second part of the stream, I hope you have a wonderful night.
Florida lobster tail. The great thing about it is that the tail part is much larger than the ones from Maine. And keep in mind that they also don't have any claws. The first thing I like to do is to cut the
I'm
middle with some
sorry.
shears.
When I get
This makes the
expensive
job
ingredients,
nice,
I
easy,
get
and
scared
quick.
to be
Once that's
creative
done,
with
you
it.
just gotta open up the shell and pull it all out. If you've never done it, it might look complicated to do, but it's easy. Anyone can do it.
Yeah,
you
that
just gotta
is a
have some
classic
patience.
lobster
Now,
prep.
of course, since we're gonna deep fry it, the first thing we need to do is some seasoned flour. And for that, I threw in some all-purpose flour, followed by cornmeal, a little bit of salt, black pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and to finish it off, smoked paprika. Mix it well and your seasoned flour is done.
Ooh,
Since
that
the
does
lobster
look like
is
a good
quite
flour,
wet, there's
though.
no need to add any egg wash. Just add as much of the seasoned flour as you want and your lobster tail is ready for the deep fryer. And talking about that, I set my deep fryer
I will
to
say deep fried
375
seafood is
degrees
usually a
Fahrenheit and
wonderful
threw in
thing.
my lobster. Now, one tip I'm going to give you is that you must hold it down for a second, because if you don't, your lobster will curl up on you and make some weird shapes. Just hold it until the shell is completely set.
Look at
and
all
you're
that
ready to
oil
release.
spattering.
The goal is to
This
cook into
man
an
must
internal
be, like,
temperature of 140 degrees
holding
Fahrenheit.
it and
As
also
was cooking,
standing
I
as
decided
far
to make
back
a
as he
quick
can.
dipping sauce for it, and here's how. I started with mayo, followed by sweet chili
Oh, thank
sauce,
God it's not
a
as
little
much
bit of
mayo as
garlic
that other
paste,
guy.
Mix it well, and your sauce is done. This is what's known as bang bang sauce.
This
It's
is
normally
usually a
used for
shrimp sauce.
but today we're gonna use for lobster.
Oh, fuck, we said that at the same time. I'm like, bang bang, that's usually a shrimp sauce. And he's like, this is a sauce usually for shrimp. And I'm like,
So in the end, I guess you can call it where I'm making
Oh,
bang bang
shit.
lobster. And by this time, as I was done with my dipping sauce, my lobster was
Okay,
also
that looks
ready.
bomb.
That, my friends, is a deep fried lobster. Or you can also call it a piece of art. Because the interesting thing is,
but
you
lobster
can shape it
is
however
super
you
delicate.
Want. But
I
hey,
wonder
regardless of how cool
what
it
it
actually
is.
looks, the most important thing is always how is it gonna taste. And as I
Yep.
grabbed my knife and I took my first piece, check that out. That is a thick piece of lobster. And I don't know
It
if
is
it's coming
thick.
through the camera, but it's perfectly cooked. But I mean, this piece is
Mhm.
even too large for me. But it goes to show you how easy it is to serve lobster like this for your guests or yourself. So I went ahead and got a more manageable piece.
Good-
and as
good
I took
choice.
my first
Very good
bite,
choice.
what? That is amazing. That is how lobster should be cooked. Forget about steaming your lobster. And don't get me started on boiling it. This is how lobster
Yeah, I
should
don't
be
boil it.
served.
I
But
usually
there's one
steam
thing left
lobster
to do,
tail
and that's
if
to
I get
try
it.
with the sauce. And as I pour my sauce on top and I took a bite, what?
Look at that,
yes,
though.
it
Okay,
is
that
so
looks really good.
Saying that this is delicious is a complete understatement.
That does
I'm
look
pretty
really
sure you
good.
had bang bang sauce before, and if you didn't, you should, because having
Yeah,
it with
bang
your
bang sauce
lobster
is
a
absolutely amazing for
life-changing
shrimp.
experience.
I would highly
to sum
recommend
it all
it.
up, deep fry your lobsters. You will not regret it. Now
It's
let's
high
talk
in
about
calories,
duck.
but it's
And I'm
also
talking about
amazing.
wonderful, tasty
Oh,
duck.
I've
Yes,
never
this one
had
is
this,
gonna
but
blow your mind,
like I
just
want
you
it
did
so
mine.
badly.
And of course, I am going to be using duck breast. If you've never cooked duck breast before, one of the things that is fantastic about it is the skin. It is hard to resist that crispiness
Look
that
at all
comes from
those
the skin. Before that
feathers.
skin can even think about getting crispy, you must render all that fat. And if you try to do that directly on the deep fry it will overcook the duck.
Oh,
and as
definitely.
you already might know, duck breast needs to be served medium rare. That is how I like my duck. So
Oh, I
first I'm
totally
gonna be
knew that,
rendering
Guga.
all of this fat. But everything always starts with the seasoning. And for this duck breast, I kept it really simple with only salt and nothing else. And that's only because I'm
Am I the only person who really hates like that pizza shaker style like seasoning thing?
going to be deep frying it in the end.
If
making a
I'm seasoning
wonderful
something,
seasoned
I'd rather
flour.
just
To
have a
render the
bowl of
fat,
it
I
to
set my
pinch.
pan to low heat. Using a non-stick pan, I threw in my duck breast. To make sure all of the skin had contact
It just
with the
doesn't do
pan,
it
I used
evenly.
a weight.
It-
and that's
it
perfect
clumps
because
up
it presses
very
down on
easily
the
as
skin
well.
and let it renders evenly. And here's where your patience is going to pay off. You want to do this nice and slow, because the last thing you want is for your skin to burn and your fat not to render. So let it take its time and do its thing.
Oh, and
after
all of
about
that
5
duck fat,
minutes, I
that can't
removed
be
the press
delicious.
And it was time to flip. And once I did, look at that. This is what I'm talking about. Perfectly rendered and crispy duck skin.
hell
And as
yeah.
you can see, the other side is still completely raw. But the skin is basically what duck dreams are made out of. Now as it
Yes.
cools down, I decided to make my seasoned flour. And for that, I started with all-purpose flour, followed by Guga's rub.
And he
Mix
puts
it
like
well
all
and
of
your
his
seasoned
seasonings
flour
in
is
that
ready.
like
Now you want to
pan,
put it
and I
down real
hate
good
that
to make
thing.
sure there's
I
no
hate it
excess
so
oil.
much.
Throw it in your seasoned flour and make sure every single edge is coated. And to be honest with you, you can just finish right here and deep fry this thing just as is. But we want want to take that to the next level, and that's to add breadcrumbs. To be specific, I'm adding panko because I think it's a lot better. I'm using the traditional method that you bread fried anything, and that's to go from the seasoned flour to the egg washed and directly into the bread.
Good thing he's wearing gloves. The first couple times I did frying, even like pan frying, I didn't do that, and my hands were just covered
deep frying, and I
in
set
batter.
mine to 325 degrees Fahrenheit.
And getting that stuff all off of you
and
is
let it cook until I reach
hard
an
as
internal
hell.
temperature of 135. As it was cooking,
Because when you expose flour to water or breadcrumbs to water, it just thumbs up.
Strawberry jam, followed by garlic paste, ginger paste, soy sauce, white vinegar, and finish it off with chili oil. Now all there's left to do is mix it well, and your duck sauce is done. And that is how you make
it might be just because I've never had duck, so I don't know the flavor of duck.
Sauce so that you don't make
but I don't know if that would be good or not.
That's the last thing you want. And once I was done with the sauce, so was my duck breast. As I'm removing them, you can see that the breadcrumbs are perfectly golden
almost like
brown.
a croquette.
And I present to you the deep fried duck breast. I mean, just by looking at this, you can already tell
that's
that
not
this
bad for duck sauce.
is
Okay,
next level.
I will trust you on that because I don't have
look
enough
at
to
that.
know.
Perfectly medium rare, just the way I like it. This is how duck breast should be eaten.
Too oily
yes,
for
there's
you.
Still a
Okay.
little bit of pink, but that is what makes it good.
Well,
But
I
as
mean,
take
with the
my
amount
first
of fat
piece, you
on it,
can
I can see
that
how
it's
it could become oily
perfectly
pretty
cooked,
quickly.
And I can no longer wait for my first bite.
And with
as
how
I
long
did,
he had to sit there on a low
This
pan
is duck
rendering
breast
the
to
fat out.
Next level. It is so flavorful, and the crunchiness is fantastic.
Yeah, I can see it being
of
pretty
course, I gotta
oily.
give it a try with the sauce, and as I put my sauce, oh come on!
Where's the duck
All right,
sauce?
Let's try this with the sauce. I mean, this is so good that I gotta try something because we all know that anything that goes in a taco is 10 times better. So I made some mini tacos.
Wait, isn't that
put
basically
some sauce on
like
it, and I threw a little bit of
a
parsley
very
in,
like
and
Chinese
take a look
prep
at this. I
of like
urge
thin
you
bread,
to give this a try
duck,
because let me
and
tell you
sauce?
something. It was awesome, and I definitely recommend you giving this one a go. I ate all of them. This one is dedicated to all the youngsters out there because we all know
What do
there's
you
a
mean
little
youngsters?
kid inside of all of us, and it is hot dogs, but not any kind of hot dogs.
I mean, I'm
Special
sorry,
hot
but that does
dogs.
look good.
And of course, the first thing we're gonna need are some wieners. You can use any kind you like. I'm using the ones that my children love the most, and that's because they have some cheese inside.
No, I
But
don't
any of
like
them
those
will work.
ones.
The first thing you want to do is to put them
The
in
cheese
skewers.
always
Try
is
to be
artificial
as precise
as fuck.
possible
I
and
hate it.
insert it right in the middle. But if you're a little bit off, it's not the end of the world. Now grab a
No,
paring
I'm
knife
not a
and start
wiener.
cutting. And this is what you're trying to do. You're basically going all the way around until it hits the skewer. You're trying to make fun food here, so make sure you have some fun and go nice and slow. There is no
I'm
reason
not a
to
wiener.
be fast. Now slowly and carefully
I don't
spread
go to
them
Weenie
apart.
Hut Jr.
The wider you can go, the better. Just keep in
The
mind that
wider
if
you can
push
go, the
too
better
much,
with
they
your
will
wiener.
break. For the dough, I'm going to be using these
Jesus
pre-made
Christ.
biscuits. You can definitely make any kind of dough you like, but we're trying to make something fun and easy
Oy
for the kids,
vey.
even to help you out. And even though these are pre-made, it tastes awesome. And if you've never seen them, check it out.
I'm sorry, but
This is what it looks like. You just gotta basically use your hand and spread them out as thin as
the
possible.
thing is doing alternate recipes with like these kind of pop pastries, as I like to call them. I saw so many of them in the early days of like cooking videos that I've just become untrusting of anything that comes out of the pop
And if you do
tubes.
have children, encourage them to give you a hand because this is fun. As you could probably already tell, all you have to do is insert
Although
the
I
dough
will say
through
the
the
biscuits
wiener
are
and your
probably
hot
the
dogs
best
are
one
ready
out of
for the
them all.
deep fryer. This is quick, easy,
But I
and
don't
a
think
lot of
I've
fun
ever
to
tried
make,
it
and
like
you should definitely
a
give it a
fry
try
bread,
with your children.
basically.
And if you don't have kids, give it a try anyway because we all know there's a kid inside of all of us. Now it's time to move into the deep fryer. Talking about
Alright,
that, I set
deep
my
fry
oil
it.
to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Threw in the hot dogs in there and let it cook. You don't want to cook any hotter than that because
But
if
no,
you do,
like
the
in the
dough will
very
not
early
get
food day
cooked all the way
videos, all
through.
the
There's
like
nothing worse than a nice
BuzzFeed
crispy
and
dough outside, but the inside
5-minute
is raw.
craft
So as it was cooking, I
videos
made a quick sauce,
were all
which
like
consists of only 3
15
ingredients:
things you
a
can
little bit
do
of
with
mayo,
like
ketchup, and
biscuits.
mustard. It does not
Oh,
get
that's a
any
very.
easier than that. Now all you have to do is mix it well.
I will usually do this and sriracha as a burger sauce with a little bit of like sweet relish. It is the best thing you can possibly put on a burger that I've ever fucking had. It's just ketchup, mayo, mustard, sriracha, and like
And your
relish.
sauce is done. By the time I was done with my sauce, so was my hot dogs. And these, my friends, are deep fried hot dogs. Hey, it is the same exact thing as a regular hot dog. You got the wiener and you got the bread. But to
I
make
use
it
the
even
croissant
better,
stuff
it is
for a
deep
mini stuffed
fried.
burger.
And let me tell you something, they don't only look fantastic, they smell fantastic.
That was
And
a
the
lot
funny
of
thing
my
is
early
that I made
recipes
this
was
with
those
my
like
kids,
5-minute
and
craft
as I was
ones.
showing through the camera, look
And
at
it
them
was
on
either
the
my cooking
background
skill
just
was
taking
complete
it. They
ass,
could
which is a
not wait any
possibility,
longer,
or
and I
just
don't
the
blame them,
recipes
because
never
there's
ended
no
up
need
well.
for me to describe to you you what these taste like. And one
So
of
I
the
just
reasons I
avoid
love
those
cooking
recipes.
is to share it with my family and friends. And of course, if you love sauce, make sure you put it on. But if you don't, it is just as good. Give this one a try. Your inner child is asking for it. Now let's move on to pork belly. And yes, we're gonna make chicharron style pork belly, aka the maximum crunch. And for that, we're gonna be needing pork belly. If you want to make chicharron, you must have the skin on. But most importantly, try to look for one that has a lot of meat. If there's one thing pork belly always has, is enough fat. The first thing I like to do is to start it by boiling some water. Then I throw in 3 bay leaves, followed by some peppercorn and a good amount of salt.
Recipes from Unpopular Housewives channels are the best.
All the way through. Depending on the size you have, you can take anywhere between.
But the thing I hate, and I don't think I'm unique in this, is I hate it when like recipes or like cooking videos spend 90% of the like article length talking about how their mother used to make this for them when they were sick. How, you know, my father brought this with him from wherever, and that this is the dish that is the family pride. Like, I get it. You have a lot of pride in this dish. You have a lot of like happiness in making it. You have experience. Tell me how to make the fucking recipe. I'm impatient when it comes to those articles now. So basically, I'll just scroll through until I see an ingredient list. I would literally just completely like scroll until I see an ingredient list. And then I know I've actually hit the recipe.
Between 1 hour to 4 hours. The great thing about boiling it first,
but yeah,
is that
usually
it will
the
make a
stuff
nice
that comes from
crispy
there is
skin
pretty
and
damn
most
good.
importantly, a tender piece of meat. Because from previous experiments, if you cook it this
Also, bay
thick
leaves
all the
are
way
absolutely
through with deep
essential.
fry
They
it,
don't
it would
taste
not
of
be that
anything, but they
tender.
get
As we all
rid
know,
of a
tender
lot
is
of the
always
off
better.
flavors
Now, the
from
next thing I
pork.
like to do is to put it on my refrigerator so that it can dry up.
So yeah, bay
overnight.
leaves
The
essential.
very next day, this is what I got. That, my friends, is as dry as it gets. It is also exactly what you're looking for when you want to deep fry something to make it crispy. Talking about that, since it's fully cooked, all there's left to do is to put it in the deep fryer. So I set my deep fryer to 350 degrees Fahrenheit and threw it in there. The one thing you have to remember with pork belly is that a lot of oil will splatter up. Make sure you do it safely. I recommend using a splatter guard. This will not only keep your area clean, but most importantly, it will keep it safe.
It will keep your arms from getting third-degree burns because, God forbid, you try and fry chicken.
And as you can see, the skin is starting to get nice and crispy. And
yeah,
also the edges are getting
okay.
a nice crust. To finish it up, I cranked my oil to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Now you want to throw it in there and fry it up until it's fully cooked. This is where the chicharrones are going to come through. It will literally take anywhere between 2 minutes to
you gotta
5
get
minutes.
those slow-mo
To know exactly when it's
splatters.
ready is when it looks like this. Just make sure you do not burn it because that oil is hot. And here we have deep fried pork belly heaven. This right here is exactly what you're looking for.
So
crispy skin
good.
to the max. And even though it was deep fried, it is absolutely dry because none of the oil will penetrate the meat. And the best way to enjoy this is to have a nice beverage of your choice. And just in case you are wondering
I'm
if
literally
it's
just
crispy,
sitting here.
check it out.
Come on.
That is crispy to the max.
Dude,
of course, the first thing
yes
I
or
gotta go
no,
for-
that over like a rice bowl would probably be fucking phenomenal.
is the crispy skin, and I will just let you
With
hear
the like
this.
crispiness causing different textures. Oh,
Oh
fuck
yes, my friends, that is
Yes,
fantastic.
yes,
I know you
yes,
had pork belly before, and you know what it tastes like. Don't wait any longer, everybody. Go make yourself some deep fried pork belly. You deserve it. Moving on to the next one, we're gonna deep fry some delicious sea scallops, and here's what they
Now
look
again,
like raw.
here's another meat where I would be actually afraid to deep fry it, because scallops for me are a meat that is super delicate. You don't like you pan fry it on a controlled temp to make sure that you're
To
getting
make
like
them is
the full
easiest thing in the
tenderness of
world.
the sea
I just
scallop.
started by seasoning them with salt and freshly ground black pepper. To make them even better than
But
they
yeah, I
already
also
are,
wrap it in
wrap them
bacon
up in
because bacon
It is
and
pretty
sea scallop
simple
is
and easy
just
to do. You just
too
gotta
perfect
use
of
some
a combo to
toothpick
not do.
secure it. And as you can see, by the time I was done, I have them nice and ready for the deep fryer.
Although
Talking
they
about
are
that,
good
I
on their
set
own
the
as
oil
well.
to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Threw them in and let them cook because I was looking for an internal temperature of 145. As it was cooking, I made a nice simple sauce to go along with it. And I started by melting
That
2
can't be
tablespoons
good.
of butter. As soon as your butter starts to brown up just a little bit, it's time to add the other ingredients. So I threw in garlic paste, followed by parsley, some lemon juice, and heavy whipping cream. Now all there's left to do is to mix all the ingredients together.
That
and
looks
your
like
sauce
something
is
that would be
done.
served
Now, I'll
at
tell
like
you
an
one thing, this sauce
older
is
school,
fantastic
like
to go along
Michelin
with
star
any
restaurant.
seafood. It is creamy, garlic, and most
That
important,
looks
delicious.
incredible.
As you notice, I did not add salt or pepper because our
No.
scallop has plenty of flavor. And talking about that, by this time my scallops were ready, and that is exactly what I'm looking for,
come
a nice
on.
golden brown color. And I'll tell you one thing, deep frying your scallops is 10 times better than cooking them in the oven. That will
The
ensure that the
crust
bacon
on that
gets fully
thing
cooked
is
without overcooking
incredible.
the scallops. And once I was done with all
Oh,
of them,
Guga's a little
here
bit
we
loud.
have
Hold on, let me
deep-fried
turn Guga down a
scallops.
bit.
I mean, come on, take a look
There we
at
go.
that. Is there any possibility that this is not going to be amazing?
No.
I don't think so. The great thing is
The
that you
crust
can serve
on that
these
is
as an appetizer
perfect.
or the main dish.
Wow.
And if you are wondering if they are fully cooked, look at this.
Yeah.
Perfectly cooked to perfection, including the bacon and the scallops. But obviously, the most important thing is the taste because I can't.
Yes,
wait any
100%.
longer. And as I took my first bite, what? It is amazing. I'm talking about all the way up to the moon. It is sweet because of the scallops, smoky because
Oh,
of the bacon,
sea
and
scallop is
just
the
overall a
sweetest
perfect
like seafood
combination.
I've ever
Of course,
had.
now we gotta go in with our sauce and see
Honestly,
how
if
that's
I'm
gonna
talking
taste.
like
And as I sliced
price for
and took my
flavor,
first piece,
sea scallop is my perfect seafood.
It is phenomenal, absolutely incredible.
Like lobster
like
and
every
crab
sauce I
are
make,
sweeter than you
more
can
is
ever
always
imagine
better.
meat-wise
I
and
think scallops
amazing.
were made to be deep fried.
But if you're
And if
talking
you've
with
never had
price,
them, you should,
scallop
because
is
as
the
you
way to
can
go.
see, not even my family members could wait for me to finish filming it. And of course, we gotta cook some type of bird, but if you think
What
that this is
the
chicken, you are
fuck?
absolutely mistaken. This is a pheasant. If you are
I have
unfamiliar
never
with it,
had
you
pheasant
should.
in my
A
life,
lot of
which is
hunters know what this
weird
tastes
saying
like.
I live
And
in
as
a
you can see,
frickin'
this one
mansion.
was air chilled, which basically makes
Is that from the
everything
same
better.
place where
I've
he
done a
got the, like,
complete
French
video explaining
farmhand?
how that works, and you can check it out on
'Cause the
card
logo
above
looks the
later on.
exact
But after I
same.
removed it from the packaging, this is what it looks like. Yep, I know what you're thinking.
So
It
I
looks
can
like a
only
chicken, and
imagine
there
pheasant would basically be chicken, but a lot gamier. Because pheasant eats on wild, while chicken usually eats on corn. In the U.S. at least. I know a lot of the free rangers are allowing chickens to eat more grasses that would add the kind of herby, gamey flavor that pheasant has.
Absolutely right.
But pheasant
Let's just say a
only
smaller
eats,
chicken. To cook it in the deep fryer, I'm going to treat it just like a regular
like
chicken.
grasses
And
and
to me,
seeds.
buttermilk deep fried chicken is one of the best. So I started by throwing
So
a good
its
amount of
diet would make the
buttermilk on
flavor
dough,
completely
followed by
different.
My favorite hot sauce. For the seasoning, I went with garlic powder and a good amount of salt. Now mix it well, and your buttermilk marinade is ready. Throw the pheasant in there and make sure that you coat everything with
Yo,
the
we're
buttermilk.
making
You can
buffalo
also do
wing
this directly
pheasant.
in a
Let's
Ziploc
go.
bag. But to make it easier for you to see, I'm using the bowl. I covered it up and let it marinate in my refrigerator for 4 hours. For the seasoned flour, I started with all-purpose flour, followed by Guga's rub. Mix it all together and
So a
combine
seasoned
everything
flour. So
through,
it's
and
going to
your
be
seasoned
buttermilk
flour
fried
is ready.
pheasant.
Once the time was up, my pheasant was ready. You
But
wanna make
also
sure to
kind of
strain
like
it
a
as much as
buffalo
possible and
pheasant?
throw it directly into the seasoned
Because of the hot
flour. And
sauce
don't be
edition?
shy, make sure you add as much
Although
as
it's not enough
possible,
hot
because
sauce
as
to make
we
it
all
truly
know,
buffalo.
A nice crispy skin is the best thing to have on chicken, and I'm hoping that the pheasant is the same thing. And as you can see, by the time I was done, it was ready for the deep fry. And for that, I set my oil to 375 degrees
I see
Fahrenheit.
people deep
Now, here's
frying
a tip. If
turkey,
your
and the
oil
only
starts
thing
getting
I
too
see on
hot,
like
a good
YouTube is
tip
the
this.
fails,
Of course, first
where
thing,
like
turn
the
off your
entire
heat,
fucking
then add
pot
more room
explodes.
temperature oil. This will immediately bring the temperature down. This is a good, easy, and effective way to bring the temperature
I've
down
never
as fast
knew
as
that. That's
possible.
honestly
Do everything you can to
really
keep that heat
useful.
at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. That is the optimum temperature for a deep fried pheasant, because once
I
it
never
reaches
even
an
thought of that
internal
before.
temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit on the breast,
But look at all the
this is
oil
what
coming
you
out of the
want. A
cavity.
perfectly deep fried bird. That, my friends, is a deep fried pheasant. I'll tell you one thing, this
Oh
thing is
my
crispy to the
goodness.
max. And I'm wondering if it's juicy inside. So of course the first
Oh,
thing I gotta
no,
go for
totally
is
not.
always the dark meat. And as I took the first leg out, whoa, that is as juicy as it gets. I couldn't wait any
Yo!
longer. I had to go in
What?
for my first bite. And as I
That's
did,
amazing
what? This
looking.
tastes amazing. And here's the breast. Ooh, that looks juicy to me. There's nothing dry.
I need to
here.
try
Of
pheasant,
course, I gotta go
apparently.
in for a bite. And as I did, yep, it's just like chicken, but better. And I think I have a solution to make this even better. So I
Oh,
went ahead and
buffalo
threw in
sauce?
some of my favorite hot sauce. I mean, we all know that hot sauce and chicken were made for each other. And as I took my first bite,
That's
with
like
the
a
hot
buffalo wing sauce.
Forget it. I could tell you right now, this is the best chicken, aka pheasant, I ever had.
That looks amazing. Okay. All right. I think we need to calm down a bit from the meat fest we've just had. and I've got another little while to go. So I think we're going to go to the second half of the stream. Now, I announced this on Twitter. We're basically going to be reading an American folktale, which is basically, you know, copyright free. And I just kind of want to, you can call me Pants Sally, yep. I kind of want to just, you know, it's getting late. People might be getting sleepy. I want to read a bedtime story, like back in the, like, I hear people like in their childhoods got read bedtime stories, so I kind of want to do that. Lull you to sleep. Yeah, bedtime story pog. But we're gonna make this fun, so I have a website here of AmericanFolklore.net, which basically has a ton of American folk stories. Some I've never heard of in my life. So we are going to go and play a little game. I'm going to have chat pick a letter, A to Z English alphabet. I will take a drink, thank you, Lan. Actually, I should probably grab another beverage. So before we do that, how about this? Chat, while I'm getting a beverage, spam the chat with letters from the English language. When I come back, the first one I see when I get back into my chair is the one we're gonna go with, okay? I will be right back. Oh, wait, did no one do... Aw, oh, come on. Guys. Making me pick SMH. Oh, crap. Wrong screen. There we go. Okay. You know what? Rare letter. I'm gonna go with J. And I'm gonna look through these ones. What the fuck? Okay, chat. I have found the first one we're going to do. It's very short, so I think we're going to do a couple of these. It is called Joseph Bonaparte and the Jersey Devil. For those of you who don't know, the Jersey Devil is like a cryptoid where he's basically this demon that like always precedes like disasters in Jersey. So this is retold by S.E. Schlosser, I believe is how his name is pronounced. This is only a couple paragraphs, and this is going to be much better written than the last story we read on the stream. Anyway, let's get right into Joseph Bonaparte and the Jersey Devil. Joseph Bonaparte, the brother of Napoleon, was the King of Spain. Unsuccessful in defending Spain against England during the Peninsular Wars, he was forced to abdicate his throne in 1813. Following Napoleon's defeat, he went into exile in America. Joseph purchased 800 acres of Bordentown, New Jersey, because it was between the two great seaports of New York and Philadelphia. From this place, he could obtain the very latest news from France and Spain. As befitting royalty, even the dethroned sort, Joseph built himself a lovely mansion with beautiful, landscaped grounds and plenty of parkland. Joseph Bonaparte entertained many of the great men of his day, including John Adams, the Marquis Lafayette, and Daniel Webster. He was a very glamorous social life, throwing marvelous parties with mountains of food and many guests. The Americans were very impressed with him. One snowy afternoon, the ex-king of Spain was hunting alone in the woods near his house when he spotted some strange tracks on the ground. They looked like the tracks of a two-footed donkey. Bonaparte noticed that one foot was slightly larger than the other. The tracks ended abruptly. Let me turn down my music a bit. Come on, there we go. Perfect. One snowy afternoon, the ex-king of Spain was hunting alone in the woods near his house when he spotted some strange tracks on the ground. They looked like the tracks of a two-footed donkey. Bonaparte noticed that one foot was slightly larger than the other. The tracks ended abruptly as if the creature had flown away. He stared at the tracks for a long moment, trying to figure out what the strange animal might be. At that moment, Bonaparte heard a hissing noise. Turning, he found himself face to face with a large winged creature with a horse-like head and bird-like legs. Astonished and frightened, he froze and stared at the beast, forgetting that he was carrying a rifle. For a moment, neither of them moved. Then the creature hissed at him, beat its wings, and flew away. When he reported the incident... Oh, Echo! Hi! Welcome, Raiders! We are... Hello, everybody from Echo! We are reading a bit of a fairy tale called Joseph Bonaparte and the Jersey Devil. You came right at the end of this epic tale. How was your stream, Echo? How did it go? Oh, Yakuza 0. Let's go. That's a very fun game. I really want to play it sometime soon. Is my chat working? Hold on. Let me try something real quick. Yeah, it was good. We got to play Majima. Oh, whoa, hello. Okay, yes, chat is working. I just have to reset it real quick. There we go. It happens sometimes. I thought it messed up because of something earlier where it was doing that. Yes. So I'm going to go back a little bit. Basically, Joseph Bonaparte, son of Napoleon, came across a large winged creature with a horse-like head and bird-like legs. Well, we're reading a bit of a bedtime story, Remy, so sit down and enjoy it with us. Astonished and frightened, he froze and stared at the beast, forgetting he was carrying a rifle. For a moment, neither of them moved. Then the creature hissed at him, beat its wings, and flew away. When he reported the incident to a friend later that day, Bonaparte was told that he had just seen the famous Jersey Devil, who had haunted the Pine Barrens ever since he was born to Mother Leeds one dark and stormy night in 1735. Bonaparte was impressed by the story of the Jersey Devil, and thereafter kept a lookout for the fabulous creature whenever he went hunting. Once things settled down in Europe, Joseph Bonaparte returned to Europe and was reunited with his wife in Italy. He never saw the Jersey Devil again. And that is the story of Joseph Bonaparte and the Jersey Devil. Apparently a very big New Jersey legend. He came strapped. Yep. Oh, I'm sorry. The robot vacuum just opened my door. What the fuck? I will be right back. Hold on. Chad, if you want to spam letters for the next folktale we'll read, you can do that while I do this. Be right back. The little like Roomba we have in our house just busted my door open. And all right, I see Remy put nut in the chat, so I'm gonna take that as the letter N. Oh, there's only 3. Oh, I can't read one of them. The 3 stories are Never Mind Them Watermelons, which is basically someone accepts a dare to stay in a haunted house, never expecting to meet a ghost. One titled 9/11. We're not reading that one. And then one titled No Trespassing. A stranded car, an old house, an injured girlfriend. Weird symbols, half. If you think I'm joking, hold on. A stranded car, an old house, an injured girlfriend, upside down question mark, half. Interesting title for the second one. Very interesting title for the second one. Wrong screen, almost. There we go. So we're going to read No Trespassing. Oh, this one's a bit longer. Okay. Oh, this is also S.C. Schlosser. So I'm guessing he found all these stories and rewrote them. So this is a bit of a spooky story, guys. Ooh. Yo. This is a spooky story. We're getting into some sleepover type stories, chat. Let's go. No Trespassing, a Texas scary story, retold by S.E. Schlosser. Peggy and her boyfriend Tommy were driving down a lonely stretch of highway at dusk when a thunderstorm came crashing down on them. Tommy slowed the car and they crept their way past a formidable abandoned house. Plastered all over the fences and trees were no trespassing signs. I noticed that. All right. Ada, Remy. Oh wait, like a crusader? Ada. I'm glad you liked it, Remy. Alright, back to the story. A mile past the house, the car hydroplaned. Peggy screamed as the car slid off the road, plunging down into a gully. The car slammed into a large boulder, throwing Peggy violently into the door before it came to rest under a pecan tree. Pecan, doesn't matter. Her head banged against the window. Not the kind of plane you want. Her head banged against the window, and a stabbing pain shot through her shoulder and arm. Tommy turned to her. "Are you all right? You're bleeding." Arm, shoulder, feel bad, Peggy managed to gasp. Tommy glanced cautiously at her right arm. "I think your arm is broken," he said, and he tore a strip off his shirt and pressed it into the cut on her head. "I'm gonna call for help," he said when it became obvious the bleeding was not going to stop right away. But neither of them had their cell phones. Oh, so this is a recent story. Okay. "That house we just passed will have a phone I can use," Tommy said. Peggy's eyes popped wide open at the statement. Despite her pain, she remembered the creepy abandoned house. Stay here. The car will come. I can't stay, Peggy, Tommy said. It could take hours for another car to come, and you're losing too much blood. He tore another strip of his shirt and placed it gently on the cut on her head. Then he went out and retrieved a couple of blankets from the trunk to cover her with. I'll be back as soon as I can. He raced out into the storm, shutting the dented car door behind him. Peggy drifted in a kind of daze. Something at the back of her mind was making her uneasy. She slid down on the floor and put her head on the seat, completely covering herself with blankets, head and all. Feeling safer, she allowed the weariness caused by the wounds to take over and fall asleep. Peggy wasn't sure what woke her. Had a beam of light shone briefly through the blanket? Did she hear someone curse outside? She strained eyes and ears but heard nothing save the soft thudding of the rain, and no light showing through the blanket now. If Tommy had arrived with the rescue squad, there surely would have been noise and lights and many voices. But she heard nothing save the swish of the rain and an occasional thumping noise, which she put down to the rubbing of the branches of the pecan tree in the wind. The sound should have been comforting, but it was not. Goosebumps crawled across her arms, even the broken one. She almost ceased breathing for some time as the deep part of her inner mind instructed her to freeze and not make a sound. She did not know how long fear kept her immobile, but suddenly the raw terror ceased, replaced by cold shivers of apprehension and a sick coil in her stomach that had nothing to do with her injuries. Something terrible had happened, she thought wearily, fear adding yet more fatigue to her already wounded body. How did we get there? Yes, it probably was, but how did we get there? Then she scolded herself for a ninny. What era was this written in? It was just her sore head making her imagine things. Somewhat comforted by this thought, she dozed again, only vaguely aware of a new sound that had not been there before. Soft thud sound of something gently tapping the roof. Thud, pattering of the rain. Thud, silence. Sometimes she would almost awaken and listen to it in a puzzled manner. Thud, patter of rain. Thud. Had a branch dislodged from the tree? Peggy wasn't sure how long she'd been unconscious when she was awakened by a bright light blazing through the window of the car, and the sound of male voices exclaiming in horror. A door was wrenched open and someone crawled inside. She lifted her head up and looked at a young state policeman. "Miss, are you all right?" he asked, and then turned over his shoulder to call for help. Peggy told the officers her story and begged them to look for Tommy. They deftly avoided answering her and instead called the paramedics. As the paramedics carried her carefully up the slope of the incline, Peggy looked back at the car. She saw a grotesque figure hanging from a branch of the pecan tree. For a moment, her brain couldn't decipher what she was seeing in the bright lights of the police car pulled out the side of the road. Then she heard a thud sound as the foot of the figure scraped the top of the totaled car, and she started screaming over and over in horror. One of the police officers hastened to block her view, and a paramedic fumbled for some volume to give her as her mind finally registered what she had seen. Tommy's mangled, dead body was hanging from the pecan tree just above the car, and nailed to the center of his chest was a no trespassing sign. All right. Bit of a spooky tale for you, chat. You scream. All right, shall we play this game again? All right, first one to type in any letter is Any letter in the English language is the next story we're going to go with. C, right off the bat. Okay. There's quite a few of these. I'm going to look through these and see what we got. Oh no, chat, no. Oh no. There's two stories with a very interesting name. There's Cock and Pearl, and there's Cock Crows in the Morning. Oh shit, do I want to read those or do I want to read Cowboys in Heaven? All right, chat, you choose. Cock Crows in the Morning or Cowboys in Heaven? Both sound amazing. Both sound amazing. One is a nursery rhyme. The other is Where Would a Cowboy Rather Be Than Heaven? Texas. Fuck it, we're reading Cowboys in Heaven. Oh, that's so short. No. Yeah, no, both of these are boring. Never mind. Damn it, the name was funnier. Ooh, this one looks interesting. It's called Coyote and the Wishpoosh. It's from the Chinook tribe. Okay. Yo, let's read some Native American stories. Let's go. I'm down for this. Again, retold by S.E. Schlosser. I thought it was going to be like something that could be funny, but it was way too short. Yeah, it was a bit way too short. This one's a bit meatier. So I want to go for this one. Coyote and the Wishpoosh from the Chinook tribe. Now Wishpoosh the monster beaver lived in the beautiful Lake Cleilum, which was full of fish. Every day the animal people would come to the lake, wanting to catch some fish. But Wishpoosh the giant beaver drove them away with many threats and great splashing. If they refused to leave, Wishpoosh would kill the animal people by dragging them deep into the lake so they drowned. Coyote was very upset at Wishpoosh for the way he treated the animal people. Coyote decided that he would kill the monster beaver, so he went to Lake Cleilum with his spear tied to his waist and started to fish. As soon as Wishpoosh saw this upstart person invading his territory, the giant beaver attacked. Coyote threw the spear and it pierced the beaver. Immediately, Wishpoosh dove to the bottom of the lake, dragging Coyote with him. While Coyote and Wishpoosh wrestled and tugged and fought each other at the bottom of the lake, until the sides gave way and all the water rushed out, pouring over the mountains and through the canyons until it collected in Kititas Valley and formed another larger lake. Coyote and Wishpoosh burst forth into the new lake, shouting and wrestling and fighting each other with renewed vigor until the second lake gave way and the water rushed out, joining in with the water of several rivers to form the massive lake at Topenish. Wishpoosh, the monster beaver, would not give up the fight. He bit and clawed at Coyote and tried to drown him in the massive lake. Coyote fought back fiercely, and at last the massive lake gave way. The water roared down into the meeting place of the Columbia, the Yakima, and the Snake, where it dammed up into a lake so huge none had ever seen its like before or since. Coyote and Wishpoosh dragged at each other, pulling and tugging and ripping and biting until the dam gave way and a huge wave of water swept down the Columbia River towards the sea. Coyote and Wishpush were tumbled over and over again as they were swept down the river in a mighty wave of water. Coyote grabbed brushes and rocks and trees, trying to pull himself out of the massive wave. By these efforts was the Columbia Gorge was formed. By these efforts was the Columbia Gorge was formed. But Coyote could not pull himself out of the great wave, and so he tumbled after Wishpush, all the way to the bitter waters at the mouth of the river. Wishpush was furious. He was determined to beat this upstart coyote who had driven him from his beautiful lake. The giant beaver swept all the salmon before him and ate them in one gulp to increase his strength. Then he swam out to sea with Coyote in pursuit. The monster beaver threw his great arms around a whale and swallowed it whole. Jesus Christ. Rolling girl. I don't know the rest of the words. Remy, what the hell have you done in my chat? Coyote was frightened by this demonstration of the monster beaver's strength, but he was the most cunning of all the animals and came up with a plan. Turning himself into a tree branch, Coyote drifted among the fish until Wishpush swallowed him. Returning to his natural form, Coyote took a knife and cut the sinews inside the giant beaver. Wishpush gave a great cry and then perished. Coyote was tired after his long fight with the monster beaver. He called to his friend Muskrat, who helped drag the body of Wishpush to shore. I apologize. Coyote and Muskrat cut up the giant beaver and threw the pieces up over the land, thus creating the tribes of men. The Nez Perce was created from the head of the giant beaver, to make them great in council. The Cayuses was created from the massive arms of the Wishpush, in order that they might be strong and powerful with the war club and the bow. From the beaver's ribs, Coyote made the Yakimas, and from his belly, the Chinooks. To make the Klickitats, Coyote used the beaver's legs, so they would become famous in their skills in running. With leftover skin and blood, he made the Snake River Indians who thrived on war and blood. Wait. Then why are the Yakimas the belly? Or why are the ribs the Yakimas and the belly the Chinooks? What does that signify? Or did they just need to justify those two tribes? Never mind. Thus were the tribes created, and Coyote returned up the mighty Columbia River to rest from his efforts. But in his weariness, Coyote did not notice that the coastal tribes had been created without mouths. The god, Akani, happened along just then and fixed the problem by assembling all of the coastal tribes and cutting mouths for them. Some he made too large and some he made crooked just as a joke. This is why the mouths of the coastal tribes are not quite perfect. I'm not a Chinook North. Good point. All right, how much time do we have left? We have a bit of time. All right, do we want to give one more letter then, Remy, before we head out? I think I want to do one more story. I want to do a couple of these. These are actually really fun. T, okay. Okay, let us look through. Oh, this looks like it's a ton of alliteration. Oh, yes, this is perfect. All right, chat. This looks to be full of alliteration, so this is going to be challenging. Tall Ted's Turtles. Oh boy, this is gonna be a big old fucking tongue twister. Alright, chat, you ready for this shit? Let's I don't know what it is. It's just like incredible the amount of alliteration I'm seeing just from like looking at it. Oh, you're a crusader now, Lion. That's an honor. All right, Remy, get some sleep, buddy. Let us see the story of Tall Ted's Turtles by S.E. Schlosser. Tall Ted Thompson parked his traveling turtle tank on 10th Street in front of Tonawanda Town Hall. Tall Ted's traveling turtle aquarium was the biggest attraction in Tonawanda. Timmy Torlish and his twin sister Trish ran to push their noses against the tank's windows to take a look at the turtles as Tall Ted walked up 10th Street to talk to the mayor. Oh, Jesus Christ, there's so many T's. There's so many T's. It was Timmy who noticed Travis Taylor staring intently at the turtles swimming and sunning themselves in Tall Ted's turtle tank. Look at terrible Travis, Timmy whispered to Trish. I bet he wants to steal Tall Ted's turtles and make them into turtle soup, said Trish. Last month he stole Farmer Tom's turtles right out of the pond. The T-virus, no Resident Evil, exactly. Well, he can't steal these turtles. They're safely locked away in Tall Ted's tank, said Timmy to his twin. When the twins were done watching turtles, they headed up the street towards Town Hall, which had a huge tulip tree out front that was easy to climb. Tulips don't grow on trees. Never mind. Suddenly, Timmy heard a thud from somewhere behind them. Timmy and Trish turned around and saw that terrible Travis had unhooked the door to Tall Ted's turtle tank. Water leaked out of the turtle tank. Then the door to the tank trembled and burst open. Out tumbled a ton of water and all of Tall Ted's turtles. Turtles of all sizes toppled over and over as the torrent tore down We've hit the first tongue twister! Turtles of all sizes toppled over and over as the torrent tore down 10th Street, scrambling desperately towards the sidewalk in their effort to get out of the raging torrent. Ted's turtles are loose, yelled Trish. Quick, Timmy, go get Tall Ted. Timmy toppled out of the tulip tree and ran to get Ted. Trish jumped down behind him and hurried onto 10th Street to try and capture Tall Ted's turtles. 10th Street was a mess. Turtles were traipsing. Traipsing. How the hell do I pronounce that? Turtles were trazing everywhere and the gutters were overflowing with water. Tracy Timmons, the local school teacher, tripped over 2 of Tall Ted's turtles and dropped her grocery bags full of tomatoes. 20 turtles meandered into Toy Town, and 10 turtles got caught in the revolving door of the 10th Street Saving and Loan and were tossed in the lap of a surprised teller who was taking a lunch break. Officer Todd Tabbitt, Tonawanda's town policeman, stopped traffic so Tall Ted could collect his turtles. Timmy, Trish, and the shopkeepers all helped Tall Ted. How did my tank break? Asked Tall Ted, scratching his head in puzzlement. Terrible Travis unhooked the door to the tank, the twins told Tall Ted. We think he wants to make turtle soup for his truck stop. Tall Ted's eyes widened when he heard this report. That could explain why 20 of my turtles are missing, Tall Ted explained. Tall Ted, the twins, and Officer Talbot took Tall Ted's traveling turtle tank over to Taylor's truck stop to talk to Terrible Travis. They found Travis heating up a huge pot of water, and a tank behind him swam 20 turtles. All the turtles had special tags that Tall Ted hooked onto their shells to help people identify his pets. Terrible Travis turned pale when he saw Tall Ted and Officer Talbot. I give up, Travis cried when Tall Ted showed Hey. I give up, Travis cried when Tall Ted showed Todd Tabbitt the tags his turtle wore. Todd Talbot arrested Travis for stealing Tall Ted's turtles and for tampering with Tall Ted's traveling turtle tank. Tall Ted shook hands with Timmy and Trish Torlish and gave them a turtle to take care of as reward for turning in Travis Taylor. Then Tall Ted got in his traveling turtle tank and drove down 10th Street to Tawanda Town Hall to finish his talk with the mayor. The end. All right. Oh my goodness. This is an amazing story of a lot of teas. Oh my goodness. Oh my fucking goodness. That was hard. That was very hard to read. All right, chat. I think it is time for our stream to come to an end. I really much appreciated this, you know, I guess a good way to put it is a comeback stream, where I kind of just got to, you know, relax with you all and enjoy a little time together after a pretty stressful finals week, if I'm being completely honest. Let us see who we are heading to next. Let me see if any of my buddies are on at the moment. I just rated them recently. It was nice seeing you again. I'm glad to be back, believe me. While I'm looking, I just want to say I won't be streaming tomorrow, but I will be streaming Thursday. Tomorrow I have my college graduation ceremony, I think is a good way to put it. And I will be doing some stuff to celebrate with family during that time. So I can't stream that day. But Thursday, I'm coming back, and I believe I'm playing Little Misfortune, which should be a very fun stream. I think I know who I'm going to send you to. Hold on real quick. Here we go. I know who I'm going to send you guys to. This guy is a pretty cool bloke who, honestly, I need to, you know, spend more time watching, in my opinion. He is very pog, and I really do like the streams I've caught of him. This is Kazuma Vtuber. For those of you who might be new here, from the several raids we've had today, I'm going to post my socials in the chat real quick. Twitter is where I shoot the shit, talk about, you know, my day and stuff and have fun. Discord is where I do a lot more personal chatting. I'm in there daily, chatting it up and just having a good old time, sharing memes, the good stuff. And for our raid message, we are gonna hit Kazuma with the Butler raid. It's gonna look like this on the other side. No, it's not, because it didn't actually copy. Hold on. Do the thing I asked, please. There we go. This was a wonderful comeback stream, and honestly, I couldn't have asked for it to go any better. Those videos, even the cursed ones, were really fun to watch, and I had a glad time watching them with you. And reading those stories were really nice, and I'm honestly getting a bit sleepy. It was kind of nice reading a bedtime story once again. But for now, I will see you guys Thursday at 6 p.m. PST for some Little Misfortune. I will see you all later. Goodbye, everybody. Butler out.